All right. Here we go. NorCal Sports Network. Dan Coach Miller here, along with the Regs, Eric and Los D. And look who this is below me, the man of the hour. We bring him in, Vince.
Hey, listen,
Russo.
Dan, first of all, I would like you to introduce yourself as Debbie Downer #1. And please introduce your buddy over here, Eric, as Debbie Downer #2. Go ahead, make the proper introductions. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so
Go ahead, Dan.
we looking at this one right here.
Go ahead, Debbie Downer 1 and 2, bro.
Here it is, guys, from Vince's own Twitter. Bro, I'm going on YouTube, NorCal Sports Network right now to set these Debbie Downers straight about my boy Farhan. I think he meant Farhad.
Yeah, Farhan.
Farhan.
That's how you spell it in New York, bro.
There you go.
All right. Well, I love your East Coast roots. I spent 7 years in Connecticut with a lot of my buddies from the New York, Boston areas. So I think we're going to have a good time tonight.
Dan, don't try to get on my good side. Don't try to get on my good side, all right? Because every night I'm laying there in my bed out here in Colorado, and I'm watching the two of you and I'm like, bro, I had enough of these two guys. Like everything is Farhan. Oh, even the JD Davis trade. Are you kidding me, bro? The guy is so greedy. He doesn't take 6'5". He's got to go for 6'9". He's got an imbecile for an attorney, bro, and an agent that doesn't understand, bro. They've been saying for 3 months they want Chapman. Oh no, bro, but JD Davis got to be greedy. He's got to go for the money. They win arbitration. Then he gets cut loose, and that's Farhan's fault, bro, because the guy was greedy and his agent didn't know what he was doing. That's Farhan's fault, bro.
Yeah, it is.
How is that, Dan? Meanwhile, we got Eric over here, Debbie Downer #2. Oh, they got to sign Snell. Well, bro, how about they just cut another $6 million to maybe sign Snell?
Well, why did they do it? They missed out on Dylan Cease today. Farhan a little late. He lets A.J. Preller beat him to the punch again.
Bro, first of all, Dylan Cease had one good year, bro. Last year, he was horrible, bro. Absolutely. The guy had one good year in his entire career.
He's speaking my language about one good year.
Thank you, Lost. Thank you, Lost.
Well,
Thank you.
I'll tell you what. I'm not. You don't have to get Blake Snell, but you should have went out and got Corbin Burns, a guy who's local from the Bay Area that didn't cost a ton. And you could have got Burns and possibly re-signed him. But here's where I'm at on this JD Davis. Not that they didn't want JD Davis. That's fine. JD Davis he's not the greatest player, but you offered him $6.55 million at the deadline. And your policy is you don't negotiate afterwards. You put this out. As soon as you gave him the offer, there was no room to negotiate. Because that's the way, once the offer's made, Farhan says we don't negotiate figures. It's going to go to arbitration. JD himself said, I would have accepted the $6.5 million had they presented it earlier. But I think Farhan did a shady thing by signing him or let him go to arbitration and then releasing him just days before they were beyond the hook for another $500,000. So they clearly did it. They wanted JD Davis. They said they tried to trade him, which I don't believe, because 7 teams were interested in signing him, according to Susan Slusser. Why didn't you trade him and offer to pay $3 million of the $7 million salary? And somebody would have taken that. They would have been on the hook for $4 million. And then the Giants could have gotten, who cares if it was a scrub? You would have done JD Davis right. Now what you've done, Vince, is you've left the players doubting their front office. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to quote anybody here, but I have it on high authority that this did not settle well for the players.
Well, listen, Dan, listen, you guys know, man, I am from the wrestling business. Dan, it's business, bro. It is business, man. And JD, bro, he was the one that decided to take him to arbitration to get the 6.9 million, knowing darn well, bro, these guys have been saying all winter long they wanted Chapman. Now, bro, I don't know. Maybe his attorney didn't know the loophole. Maybe his agent didn't understand the collective bargaining agreement. Bro, the guy screwed himself, man. He absolutely screwed himself. And what did Farhan do? He saved another $6.9 million, just like he saved money on Strickland, cutting money here and there. It's big, bro. We're not here to make friends, Dan. It's big.
I disagree. And it's a different sport than wrestling. Wrestling, you're more individuals, not a team. It's every man for himself. When you got a clubhouse and they see how their camaraderie is really dished. I mean, severe. I mean, you're costing a young man who has very little time in his career. You're going to cost him probably $2 to $3 million out of his pocket. A guy who's not a big money maker. He hasn't made a ton of money. He earned the 6.9, and then you stick it to him so he only gets 1.1 from the club. Now, if he goes out and he gets 5-6 millions, somewhere else, he's probably made whole. But if he ends up signing for $3 million, I think the Giants are going to have a grievance claim against him for that money he's not going to receive this year. Dan, and I think what it does, Vince, here's what it does. It tells the players, look, they could do that to me here. I don't know if I want to sign to it with a guy and play with a guy and stay here for my lifetime in my career with a guy that's this, kind of double-minded, just sneaks one through based on a loophole in the CBA. I mean, when JD Davis, do you think JD Davis went to camp after spring training thinking this could happen to him? I don't think so.
Yeah, and that's the responsibility of his agent, bro. That's not the responsibility.
But it's still it's an unsaid thing. It's a broken rule of an unsaid thing, because I don't think ball players. It's a fraternity. It's a tight-knit group, and they talk. And I guarantee you, they're not going to come out and say anything because they don't want to be, screwed themselves in some way. But I guarantee you they are talking, and they do not feel like he was treated in the best interest. And that's all it is you didn't have to do it this way. You could have just kept him on your roster. I mean, and traded him later. There's plenty of time to trade for him. I mean, he could have been traded in. I mean, somebody's going to go down. What happens if let's say a third baseman goes down on a team like Arenado with St. Louis, or anybody that's out for the year? You don't think that JD Davis becomes a commodity worth while?
Dan, you got 40 men on the roster. Okay, every one of those positions is valuable. You're gonna keep a guy that there's nowhere for him to play, absolutely nowhere. You're gonna keep a guy and take a spot away from somebody else that can help the team because you want to be a nice guy? Are you kidding? And meanwhile, if he would have done that, you guys would have been all over him the other way.
No, because I think JD Davis is a great bench player. He could play first base. He could DH. What are you going to do with the
you'd rather have JD Davis's bat in the lineup than Wilmer Flores, bro? Like, seriously?
No, but what happens if Flores goes down?
Got a hell of a bat. Yeah.
What happens if some of these guys go down? What's wrong with depth?
Oh, so what, bro? We're going to keep Joey Bart on the roster because Patrick might go down?
No, Bart's you can't keep everybody, but but JD Davis is a valuable player. Why not have a solid bench? What's wrong?
Let me tell you something. You'd never cut it in this business, bro. You're too nice of a guy. Bro, let me tell you something. If JD Davis and his agent felt that they were worth $6.9 million, he'll have no problem getting it someplace else, right?
I don't think he's going to get the full 6.9.
Well, then he's not worth. Then he was never worth it to begin with.
He's not going to get it because he's now he doesn't have a job. It's like he's got to take what is out there. But I
think what it looks bad is because it went to arbitration hearing,
and he won,
and then the Giants cut him. I mean, just for pure optics, that looks bad. But here's my issue. Yeah, Farhan as a GM should know what players are going to be coming up for arbitration the following year. So you should be making plans. Okay, yeah. Hey, Matt Chapman's going to be a free agent. I think I want this guy. JD Davis, yeah, I traded for him a couple of years ago, but maybe I need to start working on a trade. They could have traded him at the trade deadline last year. If they knew they were going to keep him in the roster for 2024, trade him at the trade deadline, because at the trade deadline last year, even though they were at the first place in the wild card, I mean, the only move that Farhan made was to pick up AJ Pollock. It's like, make a move and maybe you get someone in return. Then it opens up that spot for third base. It could either be Casey Schmidt if he shines, or you could go after Matt Chapman. It just seemed a little bit weird that, with him coming out saying, oh, we couldn't get him a trade, but yet you were able to trade Stripling and DeSclafani, but you couldn't trade JD Davis, who had a little bit more worth.
Well, bro, I find it hard to believe that Farhan is going to lie about we attempted to trade him and there were no. I find that very, very hard to believe. You guys are not. I just don't think you're looking at this as a strictly business deal.
Oh, it is.
You're looking at this as
bro. No, JD, it is a business deal,
bro. JD, they screwed themselves, bro. They knew the collective bargaining agreement, and they knew that there was a chance of this happening. And in business, this happened. To pin this one on Farhan, bro. I think you guys are.
What if Farhan doesn't get? If he frees up this money and he doesn't go get anyone else, then what was the reason of letting him go?
Well, bro, see, that's the problem you guys have had all winter long as I've been watching you. Bro, wait and see. Wait and see. You guys have been jumping all over this guy all winter long, and he's added piece by piece by piece. He's made some great moves. They got Chapman for nothing. Bro, the only reason they got a Hicks was because Farhan was smart enough to say, okay, bro, you really want to be a reliever? We'll give you that opportunity, knowing darn well if he feels it as a reliever, we got him and Duvall pitching the 8th and 9th inning.
We love that idea.
I love having him in the 8th inning.
Great. I don't hear you guys putting him over for that idea. I don't hear you guys putting him over.
I was for the Hicks signing. If you saw you probably haven't followed my Twitter much, but I put out a roster that Farhan, a wish list. I wanted Soler, I wanted Jordan Hicks, I wanted Bellinger, I wanted pitching. I wanted Snell and Montgomery, and they got Lee, and I think that was enough to put them over the top to make a playoff berth. But when they don't have a starting pitching staff, I mean, when they're going to go with one proven starter that's to start the season, Logan Webb, that's it. I mean, Kyle Harrison's got potential galore, and he's from my hometown. I'm hoping he just tears it up. But there's no guarantee that he has a successful rookie season. Now you got Alex Cobb coming off of hip surgery. He's 36 years old. How does he come back? Does he bounce back and pick up where he left off? Now, who's the other spot? You got Jordan Hicks, who's had 8 career starts. One time he's gone 5 innings. Maybe he becomes a great signing and he finds it as, he came into the baseball as a starting pitcher. The Cardinals converted him to a reliever. He wants to be a starter. There's a reason maybe the Cardinals made him a starter or a reliever. Let's see what he does as a starter. If that works out, I have my doubts. The 5th spot, who's that going to be? It looks like it's going to be Mason Black, who got shellacked today. And again, it's preseason, but this guy's trying to prove himself and get a job. So who's the pitching? That's my concern.
Okay, I swear you guys, let me tell you something. First, guys, let me make one thing perfectly clear. I am from New York. I am not a homer. When the Giants suck, bro, I say they suck. I hated Kapler. Last year, the Giants were miserable to watch. Bro, I went to the last series here in Colorado. Remember they went into Colorado when they had to win all 4 games? Bro, yeah. I was like literally sitting in the second row. This team had no life. No life, bro. No excitement, nothing. They sucked. Kapler sucked. I was calling everybody on that team every name in the book. So let me make one thing perfectly clear. I'm not a homer. But are you guys forgetting? Now, all we keep hearing is, bro, they think very highly of the system. We've not seen a lot of these guys. We're not minor league scouts. We're not there. You guys are conveniently forgetting Lincecum, Kane, Bumgarner. How do we know we're not sitting on a Lincecum, Kane, and a Bumgarner? When these guys say they think very highly of the young pitchers in the system, I mean, Dan, should we not give that a wait-and-see approach?
Well, here's where I come off. Lincecum. Who'd you say? Mad Bum, Lincecum, and Kane?
Yeah.
Kane, yeah.
What did they all have in common?
What?
Number 1 draft picks. And they were highly touted. Mason Black, it's like a 6th round pick. Birdsong, who knows what round he went in. Wisenhunt is an early round pick. But I don't think we did a whole thing on Major League Baseball last night. If you watch, I think you watched the farm system. They only mention Wisenhunt as a top 100 prospect. All those other guys, Lincecum, Kane, and Bumgarner, were top 100 prospects. Those guys were expected to do what they did, and they performed. So I just don't think the pitching's there. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
I'm just more of a wait and see guy. If they've got scouts in the system who think very, very highly of those arms, bro, let's see what those arms can do.
That's where we differ, because I don't trust what they're saying. I don't trust this regime, what they're saying, because they've been telling us all about all these different guys. I have yet to see anybody really perform. Bailey is a great defensive catcher. I think they're going to catch up to him, and I don't think he hits very well this year. I just don't see his bat coming around. He didn't hit very well in the minors. He came up last year. He started hitting really well. Then they figured him out. He had to make adjustments. I think he hit like 150 down the stretch. He got tired, of course. So hopefully they don't tire him out this year and they let him rest, and then maybe he does perform at a much higher level. And he's a great catcher, but I don't see anything else. What has Farhan actually produced from the farm?
And here, real quick, hey Vince, real quick. I mean, we're going into year 6 with Farhan. Do you see a foundation with this club, like it was like when Lincecum and Kane and Madwell were coming up? They had that foundation of youth, and then they just plugged in parts that they needed with good vets. I really don't see it almost seems like the 2019 Giants are similar to the 2024, except you were able to go out there and get Lee and Soler, and we'll see what Chapman does. But those aren't foundation. Well, Lee may be a foundation piece, but Soler and Chapman, they're more kind of like the hired hitman kind of guy. I don't see that foundation, and that's my biggest issue.
Okay, let me ask you this, Eric. In the last 6 years, have we ever heard this kind of hype with the arms that the Giants have in the system? No, We've heard nothing close to this. My point is, bro, I'm giving them first of all, I highly doubt. I am 90% sure they are getting another starter. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. And I think that was a big part of the J.D. Davis deal. Bro, not $7 million is $7 million. Even if we can go out and get a Clevenger and
yes, Clevenger.
Yeah, okay. $7 million, bro, is $7 million. So I honestly believe, no doubt, they're going to bring in another pitcher. But again, I am more of a wait and see approach. Bro, trust me, if they go with these young arms, that, oh, guys, this is the future. We really think these guys are ready. I saw that interview with Kyle Harrison today. And Kyle Harrison was talking about, these guys coming up like, they were all the second coming. Now, bro, if we're off to a, 10-18 start, all right, now we got a problem. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm more on the side of, man, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Bro, everybody was ripping Farhan going into the offseason. Bro, look at what this guy has done that you guys completely. Somebody on here was bringing up, they only got 3 hits into the spring training game today. Are you freaking kidding me, bro?
That was Glenn.
You're gonna look at them getting 3 hits in a spring training game, and that means anything. Bro, let me walk through. Listen, Farhan, you can hire me as your assistant once I get done. Let me walk you through what Farhan has done this year. Let me walk you through. All
right, go ahead.
Let's go back to the beginning, Dan. Let me make one thing perfectly clear, first of all. Aaron Judge wanted to play for the Yankees.
Yes.
Shohei Ohtani wanted to play for the Dodgers.
Correct.
Yes.
Yamamoto wanted to play for the Dodgers. Not getting those 3 guys was not on Farhan. Not one bit. They matched the money. They went all the way to the finish line. Those guys knew exactly who they wanted to play for. Agreed or disagree?
I'll agree with that.
I would agree with that.
Okay, fine. So take those off of his plate.
Fair enough.
Let's look at Correa, bro. Correa winds up signing, doesn't pass the physicals. The Giants pass. Look at the year Correa had last year. Now, can you imagine if the Giants would have went through with that deal, the 300 whatever million they were going to pay that guy, and he wound up hitting 260 with 18 home runs?
I don't think they had any intention of ever having that.
That would have been the best center on the Giants in 2022.
All right, Eric, don't get cute. Don't get cute. All right,
let me pivot.
Go ahead, Losty.
I don't think I've been this quiet for 10 minutes in my life.
Go ahead, Losty.
Let me pivot and let me contribute here. So first of all, Vince, absolutely love the New York decibel level, the volume, bringing it.
Yes.
I gotta set the Debbie down as straight, bro. So somebody's gotta set them straight, bro. I mean, it might as well be me.
What I want to ask you, Vince, is we talked earlier today about your OGs like me and Dan, as far as going back to the Altabelli and the Larry Herndon and the Terry Whitfield days. So what I want to ask you is how do you feel about Farhan and his whole analytical type of baseball, his platoon type of baseball, his outfielders taking a card out to know whether I should go 4 steps to the left or 4 steps to the right? Because for me, a baseball player and somebody that also has watched this team for 40 years plus, that shit I don't like at all. That's some Oakland A's stuff. So I feel about that philosophy.
Loss, I am 100% in agreement with you. I absolutely hate it. But here's where I think you guys are not giving Farhan the benefit of the doubt. I'll tell you where I don't think you're giving him the benefit of the doubt. Guys, I am a firm believer. Listen, man, we all make mistakes. We all F up. We need to make mistakes in order to be better. We learned from those mistakes. Yes. Now, if you don't learn from those mistakes, then you're an idiot. That's one thing. Right. If you keep repeating the same mistakes over and over and over, you're an idiot. Now, bro, you gotta understand this, Loss, and let's go back. Let's go back to Kapler. Bro, the guy comes in with this system that I think every Giant fan absolutely hated. Kapler was a clown. Everything about Kapler, I hated everything about Kapler. And Kapler was the guy with these analytics and the starters going 4 innings, then we're bringing in this guy and blah, 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 blah. Okay, bro, they won 107 games. They won 107 games. So, okay, let's take it into the next year. Everybody knows, bro, how that happened. Nobody still understands, but it happened. So now if I'm Farhan and Gabe's my manager, bro, the dude won 107 games last year. I got to let him do what he's got to do. So what does Kapler do the next year, bro? We got a 500 team.
Mm-hmm.
So now if I'm Farhan, it's like, okay, who's the real Gabe Kapler? The guy put 107 wins on the board. Now we're a 500 team. I can't cut him loose after that. Now I got to see who this guy really is. So what happened, bro? We give him that third year and they crap the bed. They're unwatchable. They're an unwatchable team. Bro, before the season ends, Farhan cans them, bro. Now, I don't know if I cannot see Farhan handling the Gabe Kapler situation any better than the way he did. Agreed or disagree?
Now you put it that way, I could kind of understand. You got the 107, got it, and then 22, they went 500. So now you want to see what he has. I can understand that. I could get that. But it was, whoa, oh,
Eric, you ran off lost, bro. You ran him off. You ran him off.
I think he's having internet connection issues tonight. Or something.
I think he is. He's kind of jittery there. But Farhan also hired Gabe Kapler. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. He did the right thing by firing him in 2023. But how much of that hassle has to go on Farhan? Farhan has to take some kind of responsibility, correct?
Yeah, he also has to take some kind of responsibility, bro, when they won 107 games.
True.
I mean, correct.
How much of that 107 though do you think was attributed to Buster being around after not being around for 20
a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
And then Ron Wotus on the bench stabilizing the team. I mean, I was around Gabe quite a bit last year in spring training in the clubhouse, and he's just a different dude. He's a strange guy, and I don't think the team really. I don't think he had a ton of things to do with 21. I think Buster was the manager de facto on that club. I really do.
Yeah.
Because we saw him prior to Buster 2020 when Buster sat out with COVID, he couldn't get anything done. And then we saw him in 22 and 23 without Buster. So the 1 year he had huge success. I mean, also Crawford had a monster year.
Yeah.
Belt, even though he didn't play even 100 games, had 29 home runs. So things just really kind of everything went right for the team. Late night Lamont coming off the bench, hitting clutch home runs in the late innings. A lot of different things went right for the club. And yes, you had to bring him back because, again, you don't know. I mean, you can't fire a guy after 107 wins, and you really can't fire him after a 500 season after coming off 80, the 107 wins. But where I think he should have fired him was sometime in mid-August last year when the team just went in a 2-month funk of no hitting, and they couldn't hit their way out of a wet paper bag. And I'm like, and all the tension that was happening with, I mean, even the reporter that asked Farhan a question and Farhan tried to make him look, or Gabe tried to make him look, like he was an amateur reporter, and Gabe was losing it, and you could see he was losing the clubhouse. And to me, Farhan needed to have his finger on the pulse of knowing exactly what was going on. And I think you could have put a spark in that club in down the stretch with 30, 40 games left and fired Gabe and maybe got the team really, rejuvenated. But again, he just let it the whole season. I mean, they should have made the playoffs last year. They should have made the playoffs.
Yeah, Dan, I hear what you're saying, and I'm not going to argue with that, but there's also a good chance of it going the other way. I mean, when you're replacing a manager that late in the season, I mean, there is bringing in a new guy, a new regime, a new way of doing things. I think that's a 50-50, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, you can go either way, but I want to ask you because Eric, did you get the? You have that stat?
Oh, you want to bring up the head? Okay, real quick. Why don't we bring that up? Hey, Vince, how did you become a Giants fan coming from New York?
Yeah, well,
my father, bro, Polo Grounds, man.
Oh, but there you go.
My father was at the Bobby Thompson game, bro.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
man. And when they came west, my father remained loyal to them. He didn't go to the Mets or the Yankees, and I grew up. I've been a diehard since 1970, bro.
Wow, 70. So I got you beat. I got you beat by 2 years.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
68, Bobby Bonds rookie season.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Rothberg got everybody beat, right?
Yeah, Rothberg's been around for a while. Yeah, he's
from Jersey, right?
Yeah, I was 7 years old in 68 when I started playing baseball, organized baseball, and following the Giants. It was, listening to Russ Hodges along with Lon Simmons on my transistor little radio in bed, just holding that little thing with a 9-volt battery.
My God. I mean, Dan, I grew up, on Long Island, New York. And bro, when they played the Phillies, I used to have to drive my car around because if I parked in the right place, bro, I was getting the Philly games, man.
There you go.
That's how sick bro, the season they lost 100 games, I watched every single game the year they lost 100 games.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is something. I grew up listening
Vince,
to.
did you ever visit? Did you ever visit?
Did I ever visit what?
You cutting out, Los.
Did you ever visit Candlestick?
Oh,
and
yeah, bro. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. And all the things I had heard about Candlestick growing up.
One cold stadium at night, man.
Oh, my. Until you're sitting in those stands, bro, you have no idea, man. No idea.
Well, we're gonna cover this so much. We're gonna go hit this baseball, but we got to definitely get you, Los and Eric are the wrestling guys. They're big wrestling guys. Hey, I remember wrestling as a kid. These guys don't even know the names that I grew up on. Kinji Shibuya. You remember that name?
Now that name I don't remember. No.
Okay. Haystack Calhoun.
Oh yeah, of course. I saw him wrestle live once. Yeah.
Pat Patterson, Pepper.
Yeah.
Pepper, was it Pepper Gomez or I'm trying to remember. I just remember we saw a guy in the airport. My uncle did, and my uncle, little 5'6" Italian guy from Italy, and he sees these guys in the airport, right? These wrestlers, and he said, "Oh no, don't go in there, Danny, Steve, no, you don't go near these guys." He was afraid they were going to come after it, man. He bought into the whole thing, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
awesome.
That's what they wanted you to believe.
Yeah, Uncle Giovanni. Yeah. Man. Uncle Giovanni.
Tell you what, growing up, the childhood for both me and Los, it was the golden age of wrestling, man. I loved it. Oh my gosh. I mean, when you're a kid, you got Junkyard Dog, Hulk Hogan, Big John Studd, Andre the Giant, King Kong Bundy. I mean, and then you Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. I mean, when you're coming up as a kid and you're able to watch this, and it's just wow. I mean, it was just amazing.
It was great. I mean, you're really talking about the early WrestleMania 1 to 3.
Yeah.
I think that was the best era in wrestling. I really do. The characters, larger than life. Everybody was watching it. That was a great era of wrestling.
It was the Piper's Pit. I mean, it was just so much of it. And then, of course, even when I got older, I'll never forget, I kind of got out of wrestling a little bit, and then I got stationed at Shepherd, and a bunch of my instructor friends, man, they were huge wrestling fans, and they were big into WCW. So I started watching every Monday night, 3 hours. And if I was working swing shift, my wife was recording it. I was coming home and watching it because it was just awesome. I mean, and you know what? It's not just the skill, which is fantastic, but it's the way the stories are unfolding.
Absolutely.
And I just love
Absolutely.
it. It's just
all about stories and character. It always has been, man.
Did you know any of when I was in my 20s, I lived in Southern California and in Chino, next to Ontario. My personal physician was the physician for a lot of these wrestlers, Dr. Jeffrey Unger. he had, but he would treat these guys, and it was just kind of interesting because he was like an hour east of Los Angeles. So I don't know how they found him, but anyway, they were coming to him, and he had pictures in his all on his wall and stuff. But it was kind of interesting to me to be in that realm with those guys. But I want to get back to baseball because we'll do it. We'll have. I'll just kind of sit back when it comes to wrestling. But these two guys, we got to have you on with strictly do a wrestling show.
I'm not talking any more wrestling ever with any of these guys until at the end of this show.
Until they repent?
No, I want a Farhan apology at the end of this show because you guys even cut me off at firing Kapler because you didn't want me to even go through all the great moves he made after that. So you cut me off immediately.
Did we cut him off? Did we cut you off?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe,
Well, you know what? Let's let him finish.
That was Lowe stepped in. So let him go. We'll let him go.
He gets rid of Kapler. Gets Melvin from the Padres. Come on, man. That is a great move off of that. And not only Melvin, the coaches that come with Melvin.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, beautiful. Bro, now we get a 100% thoroughbred leadoff hitter. Guy who's going to be batting number one in that lineup every single day. Bro, I don't think we've had that since Brett Butler.
Right.
Who's the last giant leadoff batter we had lead off every single game? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I think it might be Brett Butler, to be honest with you.
No, I like the Jung Hoo Lee signing. I think Jung Hoo Lee is going to hit you 285 to 295 range.
Let me see him do it in the MLB level. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you, but I'm looking at Triples Alley, bro. This guy's going to be running around those bases all day long. Brings in a legit leadoff hitter we haven't had in years. Bro, who's the last legit cleanup hitter we've had? Bonds? Who? Seriously?
I think did Bonds bat third or fourth?
I thought Bonds did bat third. So who?
Kent. Probably Kent.
Probably Kent.
You got Michael Morse, but I guess it was 1 year.
Yeah, Morse was he's not a regular.
Hunter Pence. Where did Hunter Pence bat?
He was like fifth or
for the first time in decades, a legit leadoff hitter, a legit cleanup hitter. We've not had that in decades. Those two guys are going to be in the lineup every single day to solidify that lineup. Then, bro, he gets Hicks with the promise of, okay, bro, you want to start? We'll let you try out as a starter, really with nothing to lose. Because if Hicks doesn't cut it as a starter, Hicks is going to want to go back to the bullpen. There were a lot of teams looking for Hicks to be their closer, but the way Farhan played that, would you guys not agree with that?
I would agree. That makes sense.
I like the Hicks.
That makes sense,
bro. Then look at the albatross.
It's a gamble for sure.
Yeah. It's a gamble, bro. Everything's a gamble. Then look at the albatrosses he got rid of. Stripling, DeScafani. What were those guys going to do on this team this year?
Who signed him originally, though?
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
All right, Dan, don't get you with me. All right, Dan. We dump Haniger, who I think Haniger has averaged 20 games.
I forgot. I can't remember who signed him either.
All right, never mind, Dan. Stick to the point. And Dan, you said you let me do the talking. Stick to the point
there, man.
All right, so gets rid of those albatrosses. Okay, bro? Then
you need to get rid of Slater and Yaz. Those are two albatrosses.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to argue with that, Loss. I'm not fans of, especially Slater. Slater's got to go. Bro.
Why?
Yeah.
Right. Correct. Why?
So now
nobody would pick him up if he got released. Nobody.
Let him
Maybe
go.
the A.
What about this move under the freaking radar now? Okay, so bro, we get Chapman. And bro, what about the deal to get Chapman? Pennies on the dollar. Bro, Melvin wanted Chapman from day one, and they would have wound up paying him $120 million. Farhan, the genius that he is, waited it out, Dan. He waited. He was waiting, just like they're waiting out Snelly Boy. Just like they're waiting out Snelly Boy. Then, completely under the radar, what about the Ahmed deal, bro? You're looking at a left side of your infield that is the strongest it's ever been, literally in at least the last 25 years.
Defensively, yeah.
Yeah, defensively.
Yeah.
You're an optimistic dude, man.
Aside from the starter that you guys are talking about, and it's not over yet, what else could this man have done in the offseason to make you guys happy?
Get a starting pitcher.
Okay, well, it's not over.
Yep.
Yeah.
If he's able to get Snell or Montgomery, I'll come out and say, okay, Farhan, you did a good job. I'll say that.
Yeah,
you're gonna say that. You're gonna say that
now.
Anyway,
what did we grade? What did we grade them before the Chapman deal? I think we had him at a B- for the.
I had him at a C+.
C+. Someone he's probably at a B, close to a B right now. He needs. I mean, Major League Baseball. A lot of the people, Vince, are saying that that are in the game. Guys like Jim Bowden that do this, was a former GM, says he was talking about the Toronto Blue Jays last week, and he said the Blue Jays, I don't have them making the playoffs. He said, I don't think they've improved themselves. They've lost hitting. They've lost this. What do they have? He says, I put them in the same category as the Giants because he doesn't know if the Giants have enough. He says, I don't think the Giants have done enough. They've improved themselves, but he says they're right around a 500 club. And everybody is saying starting pitching. Yes, he may be waiting on Snell, but if he doesn't get Snell soon, or a Clevenger or a Montgomery, if he doesn't get a pitcher soon, and you go 30, if a guy's not ready until May, you might be, you're picking up a lot of losses that are tough to make up, because it's going to come down to them and a few other teams trying to get that last wild card spot, just like last year. And you can't afford to just give up 30, 40 games before you add any pitching.
But see, Dan, I'm looking at this, bro. Like I said, man, they were atrocious last year. They were unwatchable. They were just unwatchable. Bro, that was a 500 team, Dan. Even with their pitching staff this year. Bro, look at who they had last year on the staff. Stripling crapped the bed. Mania, the first half of the season was horrible. Right. Wood was horrible all season long. Mm-hmm. Was that any worse than what they're going with this year? And they had a 500 team. How have we not improved that team by at least 6 to 8 games over 500?
To be determined. To be determined.
Hey, if everything,
everything goes well. I started off like in Lost D. Real quickly, he's becoming Debbie Downer number 3. All right, real quickly, he's becoming Debbie Downer number 3. How can you guys hold on, Lost D? How can you guys not look at last year's roster and this year's roster and not believe that this year's roster blows last year's away? How can you not believe that?
The hitting's better, but the pitching's worse.
How is the pitching worse?
They got one starter.
Okay, but who did it? But who did anything last year? Who did anything last year besides Webb?
Cobb.
Okay. Cobb's coming back at the end of the month, at the end of April.
Sounds like it, yeah.
I'm still the jury's out for me
if their injured guys work out pitching wise, then they'll be in good shape. If there's a lot of ifs with this team, though.
Here's where let me ask you this.
And see, a lot of people, I just saw someone, Eric's filtering the comments, which I really don't like. I should be filtering them because one comment just got through about calling you guys Debbie Downers. So I'm assuming there's a lot of comments like that coming up, and Eric's not putting them up, bro. Because people agree with me, bro, because they're real Giant fans. They're real. Yeah, Cliff. Tell them, Cliff. And there's a lot of them, and you ain't putting them up. You're censoring the people. You're censoring the people.
No, we don't do any censoring.
We don't censor the people.
No, we're not censoring anybody.
Who did they have in their rotation last year? Who?
You're on the show. We're not, Vince. You're on tonight. We don't censor anybody.
And I'm coming on here regularly.
Very good.
Regularly to keep you guys in check.
You keep us in check. You keep us in check. And if you're right, you know what? We'll get you. We'll get you a keg or something.
I don't drink. Give me a 6-pack of Yoo-Hoos.
That's awesome.
All right. So here, let me ask you this. You're a bright guy. You've had a lot of good things to say, and you make a lot of sense. Now let me give you a shot here. You think that Farhan wanted Ohtani and Yamamoto and was willing to pay the price tag for them. So how much did they sign for between the two of them?
Oh, over $1 billion.
Right. And then what did Ohtani say when he said he would sign for a deferred deal? Why was he taking a deferred deal?
Because he wanted the Dodgers to have a winning team with pieces around them.
Right. He wanted them to spend more money, be able to spend more money. Right. And Farhan said they were willing to do that, right?
Right.
What has Farhan done with that 1.1 or 1.2 billion that he was going to spend on two players?
Okay, hold on, bro. You mean to tell me you're going to look at Bellinger and you're going to look at Snell and you're going to look at one good year out of every 3 and you're going to pay these guys in the excess of $200 million, bro? See, come on, man. Would you throw your own money away like that?
Why wouldn't you spend? You spent $280 million. Why wouldn't you spend $600 or $700 million and have 2 top starting pitchers and have the best pitching staff in all of Major League Baseball that would practically guarantee you a playoff berth and make you a very scary team to face in a short series? Okay. Why wouldn't you do that?
Well,
why wouldn't you do that if you're willing to spend over $1 billion? Why wouldn't you spend $600,000 or $700,000?
Danny, you raised your voice at me. Dan, settle down, Dan. Settle down, Dan. Dan, look at what you're saying. Was Farhan right or wrong? Those freaking 2 pitchers are still sitting out there, bro. There's nobody signed them for that money. Nobody. So was he right or was he wrong?
Well, we'll see when they do sign if they put those teams over the top, because to me, it's not about trying to win the financial deal. It's about putting a winning team and a winning product on the field. The money will follow if you put a winning team on, because people will be excited to come to the gates. But when you don't, the Dodgers, the difference between the Giants and the Dodgers is the Dodgers are not waiting around. They're going and taking it. They're saying, doggone it, we got a plan and we're going to execute it. Farhan doesn't have a plan. He has a maybe.
I don't know how you can look at a track record of a Blake Snell and pay that kind of money and believe that it's a sure thing.
I don't think it is.
You talk about taking a gamble, man. I mean, that guy's, bro, he's won 2 Cy Young Awards and he's had 6 par years.
You know what? I've said I would rather sign Snell for a 3-year deal and pay him a high AAV than sign him to a 5 or 6 year deal. And same with Montgomery. I'm not signing any pitcher over 3 years because I'm seeing pitchers go down. Garrett Cole now. He's probably out for 2 months, and my guess is he follows the same track as the guy down DeGrom, who had elbow issues. Eventually, that thing's going to snap. It's not going to hold up. If you got elbow issues, forget it. You're going to have Tommy John eventually.
Vince, question. We're spending a lot of time on Farhan, obviously, but how did you feel when this ownership group got rid of a general manager in Sabian, kind of pushed Bruce Bochy out the door, having to have all the success that they did with the Giants, bringing 3 championships here, bringing quality, relevant baseball year after year, and maybe that's a lot of the reason why Farhan, not only on this channel but in general, gets a lot of heat because, he's replacing a general manager that was very, very successful. And yeah, he had the 107 win season, but as I said earlier, he does things a lot differently philosophically, and for the most part has not been a winner. I mean, how did you feel when they pushed Sabian and Bochy out the door?
Absolutely horrible. Absolutely terrible move. And you could see at that point, everything was going over to analytics, and that was the game they were going to play. But again, here's my point, Los. I agree with you 1,000,000%. I think he's learned from those mistakes, man. Like I honestly believe he's learned from those mistakes.
Maybe so.
Let me ask Eric. Let me ask you guys: have you seen him repeat any of those mistakes since he fired Kapler?
No, I think his offseason has been pretty good.
But I don't like where he's already come out before spring training start. He already said Conforto, Lee, and Yaz is going to be your outfielders, without seeing what Matos can bring, because Matos may be able to bring something. Here, I would like to see, and this is just me because I prefaced this earlier about showing a foundation. I would have loved to see Casey Schmidt at third. See what you have. If you wanted to bring Ahmed at shortstop, that's fine. You have Estrada at second. You got Wade and Flores, the platoon at first. That's fine. Left field, if you wanted Conforto, that's fine. Lee is fine in center field, and then Matos in right field. And then you got Bailey behind the dish. You're putting not only some veterans, but you're going to see what you have in your organization. That's what I wanted to see this year.
Okay, Eric, I understand that, but my God, bro, Schmidt.
No, I understand. It's a risk.
Come on, man. He couldn't hit his way out of a wet paper sack the last 2 months of last season. And that was the taste he left in everybody's mouth. I don't know how you guys feel. When you were talking, Dan, about Bailey, I agree with you 1,000%. I feel the same way about Schmidt. Do we know that Schmidt? He came up with a bang, and we thought, holy crap, we're on our way. And then, my God, he dropped off the face of the earth.
I think he'll make adjustments. I
hope so.
It took Matt Williams 2 to 3 years to figure things out.
That's what I will say.
Because at third base, because if Chapman has a great year, he's going to walk. And then if he's shitty, the Giants are stuck with him. So it's still it's a question mark on what's going to happen at third base.
Hey, we're not censoring anything, Vince. Look, one of your disciples is
Giovanni. Yeah, Paisan, Giovanni. Tell him, Giovanni. Yes.
Keep running that mouth, Dan. Farhan going to shut it real quick. You know what? I've said I'll eat pie. I'll eat humble pie on this show if Farhan gets the Giants into the playoffs this year, and we'll see.
Bro, who has had a better offseason than Farhan than the Dodgers? Let's be honest.
I don't think. I think here's an interesting team. You're going to find this kind of crazy because they're going nowhere. But I think the team that had a pretty quiet but successful offseason, quiet because they're a small market, nobody's talking about. But Kansas City,
they definitely improved. They're at least a 500 club this year.
I mean, they went out and got a couple of pitchers, proven pitchers, Lugo and Waka. Why didn't Farhan, go out and grab a couple guys like that? Because what makes those guys good? Having guys like that is it also gives you trade bait at the trade deadline. If for some reason, if you're not performing, you could trade those guys and get some more assets. That was my gripe with Farhan in 22 when he had Rodon at, Rodon had an opt out, and I knew they weren't making the playoffs. They were floundering at the All-Star break, and they came out of the gates. They lost 8 in a row before the trade deadline, and it was like, trade Rodon. He's going to walk. Why are you keeping Rodon? The only thing that can happen is Rodon, what happens if Rodon blows out his arm, which is, very possible since he'd done it so many times, and now he opts in for next year. But they were fortunate that didn't happen, but he could have got an asset. And he kept Rodon thinking, well, if I get into the playoffs, but they weren't a playoff team. They had already lost 8 in a row. That was the year Crawford got hurt. He gets Dixon Machado to face the Dodgers, and they get swept by the Dodgers. And it's like, you know what? Just cry uncle. Go ahead and trade him. Get a decent prospect and start building. And he let him walk. Now, I don't fault him for not signing Rodon because we see what Rodon has done with the Yankees. I mean, he looks like damaged goods.
Well, Dan, one of the things I go back to that I think was one of their biggest mistakes in recent years was, bro, when that year, man, when they were on the fringe of the playoffs, but they weren't going to make the playoffs, and they didn't trade Mad Bum at the trade deadline.
Oh, yeah. That was
that, bro. If they would have traded Bumgarner, we could be looking at something completely different right now.
Correct, because he was highly valued at that point.
Oh, what a
the Giants never sell. They're always buyers. They never sell. That's another pet peeve. But we're talking about. Oh, by the way, it's Los. Los.
What would I been saying? Los.
Laos.
Laos. Is it Laos?
Let me down to number 3.
Oh, that's the New York accent, bro. Love you. Hey, but we're talking.
Just call him DD3. DD3.
There you go. We're talking about improving the team and the Giants. In your eyes, being second only to the Dodgers. But again, we're talking old school. Like old school, the way you built a team was through your draft picks. And we're talking about now how we're improving the team with free agents. Steve, in my opinion, the Giants free agents should be a piece here, a piece there to put you over the top. When we're relying on too many free agents and too many players that are just here for a year or two just to get by, just to be another 500 team, that's kind of one of the reasons I have a problem with Farhan, because it's like he came in to help build our farm system. And for the most part, we'll see what this latest draft they had, but for the most part, he's kind of missed a lot on some draft picks. And this is why we always on this show, they're going all in for young people on the pitching staff, but they're not doing it for the everyday players. Like Yaz and Slater are going to be in right field and Matos is going to sit. And that's not cool. So I think you build the team through the draft and you add a piece here and there with free agency, and they've kind of gotten away from that.
I'm not going to argue with that. Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I just keep telling you guys. That's why I'm just holding out to see how this young staff does. Let's just see how they do.
Yeah. I think that is fair. We definitely want to be able to say the Giants are on their way back up. I mean, we all grew up as fans. My thing is with Los is, again, free agents. If the free agents do well and get you into the playoffs, it's successful. But let's say they fail to make the playoffs, then you block a guy's development like Schmidt from another year. And you've got to at some point see what these guys are, capable of doing. I mean, he was the second round pick. Matt Williams has said when he looks at him, he says he feels like he's seeing himself in the mirror. He sees that, and you're blocking him. They're super high on him as a defensive third baseman. And Matt Williams really, I watched Matty come up in 87, 86, wherever it was when he first came up. I mean,
87.
The guy was swinging at balls in the batter's box of the left-handed hitter.
Dan, I remember that vivid. He was awful.
Oh, he was the worst I'd ever seen at the plate. I mean, he just looked like a guy that just was like, I'm going to swing and I don't care where the pitch is. I just want to go sit back at the bench because I can't deal with this anymore. I mean,
there was a lot more patience in those days for sure.
Yeah. And when he discovered himself man, did he take off. And you got to have some failure. I mean, that's just true in life, right, Vince?
Yeah.
I mean, you talked about it with Farhan. He may have learned from his mistakes. We all learn from mistakes, hopefully. So I'm like, I don't mind them going with the young guys pitching, but I also would like to see them just develop their other players, and let's go with it. Because I want to see what they did in beginning. It started early with Kane. He was drafted, and then, next was Timmy, and then Mad Bum, and it was Buster coming in, and Pablo, and then it was Crawford, and and the whole infield. If you look at the infield of 14, it was homegrown. It was Belt, Panic, Crawford, and Pablo, and then Buster behind the dish, and then all the pitchers, the entire infield, and they supplemented with free agents, and they re-signed Pence, but they found guys. You don't have to have 9 guys out there that are homegrown, but you should have at least 5 or 6 that are producing, because if they produce, then it's like, okay, it's sustainable. But if you keep bringing in free agents and blocking these guys, then now it's like, okay, we just set back somebody else. We don't really know what we got. We're never going to know if Ramos could have made it or not as a Giant, because he's not
but Dan, you got to look at the other side of that argument too, bro. Like, okay, let's look at this year's team. Okay, first of all, bro, Patrick Bailey behind the plate.
Yeah.
Bro, they got Wade from the Twins at a very young age. So, I mean, no, he wasn't homegrown, but they picked him up at a very, very young age. You got Tyro at second. Yeah. So it's not like you got Duvall. You got Webb. It's not like we don't have any of that. I think, bro, they gave Matos and they gave Schmidt an opportunity at the end of last year. Bro, if they would have performed, Matos would be the everyday starting outfielder this year. Maybe they never traded for Chapman, but the fact of the matter is they gave both of those players ample time at the end of last year, and they didn't get the job done. So what are you going to do? You're going to start a season with those guys?
Well, we could also blame Kapler in that, because he was platooning those guys a lot.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't think, you know what? I'll say this, and I'm not the only one who said this in the media. I don't think Kapler was making the lineup. I really don't. I think it was being handed down to him by Farhan and the analytics department, because it was constant platooning. Kapler didn't platoon like that in Philadelphia. He didn't have to. I think Farhan's ways, and I think when you talk about Farhan learning from his ways, I think Melvin has had his ear, and Bob Melvin has said, you know what, the way to go is to play these guys as much as possible.
Yeah.
And
look at shortstop. It's going to be Ahmed. It's not going to be our number 1 prospect, Luciano.
But Loss, who's that on? The guy's one for 18. We're going to open the season with this guy.
Yeah, he got hurt and he got off to a slow start. But again, that's the patience. So they're going to go with a veteran and a journeyman all over again. So we're not going to know.
I don't know how you open up a season with a guy that's 1 for 18 in spring training.
I don't know if Marco's really ready for the prime time yet, because they rushed him even in Double-A.
He may not be, but right field, Matos may not have earned the job, but Slater and Yaz certainly didn't earn the job in right field either.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
hey Dan, I don't like talking behind anybody's back, but between you, me, and Los, can Eric not make it through a show without going to the toilet? You got Vince Russo on. The guy's taking a bathroom break. This
Nature
guy
calls.
What?
Nature calls.
Oh my God. Hey, Dan, let me tell you this. You guys, though, I think we got something in our hip pocket we did not have last year. Okay? Bro, listen.
Cleanup hitter.
Let's look at the other teams we're competing against. They haven't done much. Cardinals haven't done much, bro. I was just Devin Williams is out for the first 3 months, bro.
Yep.
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 Milwaukee lost Burns. They're not the same team. We know
Correct.
the Mets took a giant step backwards. So the teams we're competing with, maybe Arizona played a little bit over their heads last year. We'll see. But we got two things going for us we didn't have last year. Number one, we got Robbie Ray coming back after the All-Star break. You got an ace, a workhorse, and here's number two, Dan. You spoke about this earlier, and this was far and away Farhan's biggest mistake last year. That is not going to be repeated this year. If they are in it at the All-Star break, bro, they ain't bringing in no AJ Pollock this year. That will never happen again. If they are in it, I guarantee you they're going to make the moves they have to make at the All-Star break.
That was one of the most depressing shows we ever had. We had a
Terrible.
special show for the trade deadline, and all we could put up there was AJ Pollock.
Terrible.
Vince, how do you think Lee's going to do?
Bro, I think he's going to do great, man. I've been watching him on spring training, even against Glass now. He struck out everybody but Lee. I mean, Lee was making contact. Bro, I think, man, in that ballpark with Triples Alley, bro,
Look at Los.
You don't think so, bro?
No. I'm the only one that's been 100%. Dan's coming along. I'm the only one that's 100% on Lee from the get-go.
I was about 80. I've come on board. I've watched him. I've been to spring training. I've been to a few games. I like his makeup. I like the way his approach is. He's not afraid to even get down 0-2.
Contact.
He's a contact hitter.
Yep.
He's I think the problem, not the problem, I don't want to say the problem. The concern will be when it gets into the regular season and he's facing all the pitching, is he going to make loud contact or is he going to hit? He's known for hitting a lot of ground balls, with not a lot of high exit velocity. Hopefully he's not just trying to make contact just to make contact. But, I'd rather see him maybe take a strike, a called strike or and then just swinging at it because he knows he can make the contact, but it's not his pitch in his zone that he likes to hit. I'd rather see him, hit the ball solidly. And if he's trying to keep his, let's put it this way. If he's at a 7-8% strikeout rate, but he's hitting weak balls, I'd rather see him strike out 12 to 15% and smash the ball when he hits it because it's
or take a walk even.
It's his pitch to hit. Oh, he'll take his walks.
Yeah.
He's got a good eye.
He does.
I just don't want him. I want him to build it, and he'll learn that. I think he does have probably a low strikeout rate, probably one of the lowest in baseball. I think he's going to hit between 285 and 290 this year. And I think as the years get along, he might be a 300 hitter. So he is solid. He's very solid. He's a player. You could see it. So I like that signing. The problem I have with the outfield is the corners. I don't like them. If I'm an opposing team, I'm going to line up left-handed pitching. I'm telling you, I'm going to put left-handed pitching because you got Yaz and Conforto
and Wade.
And Wade's going to sit and if
Flores
you
will
pitch
play
left-handed, Flores will play, which Flores can hit, but he's slow runner. So he doesn't give you much on the base pass. Now you have to turn Patrick Bailey from his strong side, from the left over to the right, where he doesn't hit very well. So now you've got basically Lee, I think, can hit left-handed pitching. He won't hit as high as average as he is in righty. That's just typical, but he'll still hit. I don't think you'll get anything out of Yaz and Conforto from the left side against lefties. And I think Bailey will struggle. And so you have a lineup that basically you're going to have to rely on Soler, Flores, and Chapman. And that's okay.
You got Estrada.
Yeah, Estrada. But the thing that concerns me is with Chapman and Soler, they are hit or miss guys.
Yeah.
You know, they strike out a lot, but they can hit the ball hard when they hit it. So I think those guys may tend to get pitched around. And I think, I know Chapman is going to struggle against guys with good stuff. We saw it with Glasnow. We'll see it when he faces Yamamoto. We'll see it when he faces, Arizona's top guys in
Gallen and Kelly.
Yeah, and Kelly. That's going to be an issue because Chapman is, if you look, do you have that stat head ready?
Yeah, I got it.
Pull that up real quick.
It's only for last year. Is that what you want?
Sure, that's fine. Last year.
While we're waiting on that, Vince, do you ever make the short trip from Colorado to Arizona for spring training?
Man, I wanted to go so badly this year, but I do think I'm going to make it out to San Fran this year. You guys know Russ Stanley?
Russ Stanley.
He runs he's been running the giant ticket operations for years.
Yeah. Lou Marston knows him in our chat.
Yeah, Russ is a good friend of mine. So I think I'm going to make it out there this year to, spend some time with him.
Nice. Me and Dan are in Arizona for spring training if you ever want to come through.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife. I really wanted to come this year, but not much time left.
Yep, no worries. There's always next year.
So up here is we have on the screen here, we have a stat head of two players. Basically gives their offensive statistics. WAR includes offense and defense. Yeah. But if you look there, pretty similar numbers. The one on the right, a little bit better when it comes to WAR, and a little bit stronger on the OPS plus, but not drastic.
Dan's trying to set me up. Dan, let me cut to the chase for you. Okay. The guy on the left didn't have an injury that he played with for the last 5 months of the season. Okay. All right, bro. The guy on the left was healthy all year. The guy on the right, bro, had one healthy month and played with a bum finger for the rest of the year. How about that, Dan? How about put that in your pipe?
He knows. He knows.
Who you think you're talking to? A rookie? You're talking to a rookie here, bro? You're not gonna do this to me.
Yes.
No.
Bro, Dan, you said you were a ball player in your younger years, bro. You ever try to swing a bat with a bad finger?
It isn't easy. Yeah.
Come on, bro. Against major league pitching. Come on, man.
Yeah. Hey, Vince, that was a hard punch right there, Vince.
Yeah,
that was a.
What the hell you trying to pull a quick one on?
He just threw me on you. He just threw me into the turnbuckle there.
Dan, apologize to me right now, Dan.
But you know what? Hey, you're a fan of the show. That's what's awesome. Awesome.
Okay, so the man on the left, as you know, is probably that's JD Davis.
Yeah, the man who. Let's refer to him as the man who screwed himself out of a contract. All right, let's refer to him as that going forward. All right, Dan. Okay. He's only gonna get $1.1 million. Oh, is that all he's gonna get, bro? Dan, when's the last time you made $1.1 million a year, Dan?
It's been a few years. But,
yeah, you and me both. Don't put up those numbers, Dan. The guy's playing with literally 4 fingers, and we're gonna use those stats. Come on, man.
We'll see how he does this year. How about the year before? Put Chapman up the year before. How did he do? 26 homers. I know he did.
There you go.
He still hit like.
I'm going to tell you guys too. I got a wild card for you guys that you've not brought up.
In the minors or on the roster?
On the roster. I think Conforto is going to have a big bounce back year.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Because he's healthy.
He's healthy. And bro, not only is he healthy, I think he was really pissed off with his performance from last year. I mean, I think he really feels like he has something to prove. And he's also going into a free agent year. Their weakest link to me is it's Yaz and Slater. And I don't know what happened to Yaz. Maybe you guys have some insight. A couple of years ago, he looked absolutely tremendous. I know he's gotten hurt a lot. I don't. The guy kind of fell off for me. What's your opinion of that?
I think he's just fragile. That's what I think it is. Because when
Yaz?
Because when he has a run, he could put something together, but then a hamstring will pop up, and then next thing you know, it's all gone.
Yeah,
and he comes back and he's a strikeout machine.
I think he caught the league by storm. You know, he came over from the Orioles and he was like 26, 27. People didn't know much about him. And once they got a scouting report on him, especially left-handed pitchers, like they made adjustments on him. And yeah, like Eric said, he gets hurt a lot. But when he has been healthy, he's lost against left-handers. And he has a hard time facing right-handers that throw that down and in slider. He can't lay off of it. So, you know, that's baseball, man. You get a scouting report, you know, you start early and you're hot and you got everything figured out. The league makes adjustments, and I don't think he's been able to adjust back. So I don't know why they keep him. I really don't.
I agree with that.
To your point, Vince, I even said this last year with Conforto. I said with him coming back after being off basically for 2 years with the shoulder, I said last year he's probably not going to have a very good year. The next year, I thought he was going to actually opt out, but he opted in. I think he will have a better year this year.
I hope so. I like Conforto.
I think that's a good call. Yeah, I think Conforto will play well. And he's a New Yorker, so
we'll have to put this up sometime. I got a 20-minute interview with him last year on the field, and he's a great guy. I really like him personally. I hope he does bounce back. He has a lot more upside and potential to bounce back than Yaz. He's only 30. Yaz is like 33.
Yeah.
Yaz is here's what I put out today, a little tweet here. We're going to look at this lineup. Pretty much this Giants starting lineup with Bailey and Wade being in there more because they're not in today's lineup. And I think, as I said, still not a lineup that strikes a lot of opposing fear. And with their current starting pitching rotation, I think they will struggle to reach 500. Yaz is slated to start daily, but will be platooning by May. Now, see, I like Lee. They put Flores in there when, I guess, when Wade's not in there, and moved Estrada down. But I don't like Yaz in this lineup at all. I think he'll have some days that he does well against some right-handed pitchers. But if he's going to play every day, I really think – I think Conforto – give Conforto 60 days, 60 games, play him every day with a day off here or there. But Yaz, I wouldn't go more than 30 games. If he's not cutting it after 30 games, you got to platoon him.
I agree.
But Conforto's a guy that has proven himself in the past. And last year, he was coming back from a lot of, a layoff. And he said recently that his legs got worn out because he just, he worked so hard in the off season to get his shoulder right that his legs were heavy. Yeah. And that's understandable. Now he's got a full year of health. I think he bounces back. I wouldn't be surprised to see if Conforto and Soler hit 30 homers for the Giants.
Oh.
And you got a guy like Wade Meckler who put on some weight. He was a string bean last year, but he put on a good 15 to 20 pounds. Me and Dan have seen him in spring training, especially in the lower body. And he passes the eye test. Just look at the kid's swing. He has a very natural short stroke swing. And I think he's going to be a pretty decent hitter. But because Slater and Yaz are on the roster, he's down in AAA, and I think he's hitting like 420. I know it's spring training, but just looking at him, he passes the eye test. This kid's going to be a pretty decent hitter, and he's another young guy that's going to just have to wait now.
We'll see. There's a possibility. Hiroku says trade Conforto. He's got an $18 million contract. I think you'd have to eat $6 to $8 million of that if you traded him early on in the season. Nobody's going to want to pay $18 million at this stage of the game. He might be a trade candidate at the trade deadline if he's having a decent year and the Giants are not for some reason in the race, but because he's a bat that somebody could use for the stretch drive. But it's going to be interesting to see because a lot of things have to go right. If the Giants stay relatively healthy and they add starting pitching, they can be a playoff team. I've said that on the show, been pretty consistent the last month. But if they go into this with the starting pitching as is, and they don't add anything, they're in danger of being too far out at the break. Because, and I think what Farhan is doing, he's taking a calculated gamble. And I understand it to a point, because you're trying to play within the margins of the CBT and, stay below that and all that. But what he's trying to do is get by. Hopefully Cobb comes back by the end of April. They're close to 500 at the end of April. Cobb comes back. They're a few games over 500 at the break. They're within a game or two of the wild card, or maybe in the one of the three teams in the wild card. Then you get Robbie Ray, and he's hoping that with Webb and Cobb and now Ray and hopefully Harrison, or he's looking for one of those other two guys, either Harrison or whether it was going to be Beck or Wynn or whoever it was going to be or becomes, that one of those two guys has a decent year and they won't worry about it. The fifth guy's not so good. Okay. But if they can get four of those five guys having winning productive seasons, then down the stretch, they will be a threat with Webb, Cobb, and Ray and that other pitcher. And if you go into a series with those guys, so I know what he's trying to do. And I think what you said, Vince, is he won't make the same mistake if they're in it at the trade deadline. His plan may be to, at that point, trade for a pitcher for a 2-month rental and barely have to pay him.
Well, I got to tell you this too, man. I saw that line today. What was that final score? 19-11 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. You guys bring up, they only got 3 hits, but they score 11 runs. Nobody says nothing. All right, listen.
That was Glenn. I never.
You agreed. You agreed, Eric.
I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Bro, Black got lambasted today.
You did.
Bro, if his next start in spring training is anything like that, they're getting another pitcher. I mean, I'm sorry, bro. If that guy gets shellacked his next time out, they're getting Lorenz. They're getting somebody, bro. And here's another crazy thought. Tell me if I'm crazy. I thought about this today. Bro, if Cobb is coming back at the end of April, okay, why not go with a 4-man rotation to the end of April?
Ooh, old school. I love it.
Why not? Why not? Why you got a good bullpen? You got if guys got to come in and pitch the 4th, 5th, and 6th, why not go with a 4-man rotation till Cobb comes?
Well, the problem with that, I don't mind it, but these guys are so weak to be able to do that. Webb could do it, but you end up having them pitch more innings early on in the season and they might be worn out. And a guy like Hicks, who's never hardly had any starting success, and then Harrison, who doesn't have any buildup, I don't think those guys can handle pitching every 4th day instead of every 5th day. I think that would I think the thing to do is go with the 4 guys. Okay, so you've got Webb, Harrison, Hicks, and who's the 4th guy now? That's the problem.
It's probably Jeffries.
Yeah, and Jeffries, I don't even know who that is still. I need to read up on. So Jeffries, whether it's Wynn or it's Black or it's
It's not
Root.
going to be Wynn he hasn't thrown 1 pitch yet.
So he's not going to be ready. So you really only have 3 starters right now and probably Jeffries 4. So you're going to have to just bite the bullet for those. When you go with that 5th starter, you're going up against another team's 5th starter. So your hope is you can just out hit them.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to just realize that 4th and 5th starters, those games are going to be, 6-5, 7-5, 7-6 games. You're going to have to just score. And the problem that I see with their opening 13 games. They start with 4 in San Diego, 3 in LA, then come home 3 with the Padres, and then 3 with the Nationals. Is Webb has to win games 1 and 6 because the Giants have to win those games, because if they lose those games 1 and 6, you could be off to a 3 and 8 starter or 3 and 10 start. You don't want to, you want to be with this club. If after 13 games, you really want to be 6 and 7. If they're 6 and 7, they say, hey, you know what? We dodged a bullet. We just got through LA and San Diego, and we don't have our pitching staff. We're still fine. But if they break camp and they do a 3 and 10 start or 4 and 9, now you're playing catch up constantly.
Oh, yeah.
And you just don't want to get too far below 500 early, because it's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
You remember they did that a few years ago. They started off really slow and they were chasing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like,
it was like that last year. They started.
Was it last? Yeah, it was last year.
Yes, it was last year.
They just kept chasing. And then they had that big 10-game winning streak, and they won like 12 of 13 and we were all excited thinking, hey man, this is fun, and then it's like the hitting is like they just took 2 months off.
Ugh.
And
Hey, Vince,
Kapler,
are you concerned about Webb? He's had a couple of bad outings in these last couple of spring starts. You concerned?
Only spring training.
I know. I'm just saying though, because I'm just saying. Are you concerned?
And spring training starting pitchers that are established are always working on things. They don't care about getting hit or trying to locate fastballs and things like that. But hey, Vince, what the hell's happened with starting pitching not being able to go 7, 8, 9 innings anymore? It's kind of like wrestlers not going 60 minutes in a cage like Sting and Flair used to go.
It's not only that. Like my dad, believe it or not, 93 years old, he's still alive and he still plays softball 3 times a week.
Oh man,
wow. Man, I love it.
Giant jeans.
The things these guys sit out with. Can you imagine Willie Mays missing a game because, bro, those guys played every single game, never missed a game. Bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And what's up with these injuries? It's different with these starting pitchers. So they not made the same anymore. They're always going down now, and I don't know what it is.
I don't know why.
I don't know what it's
Speaking of starting pitcher, what's your thoughts on Trevor Bauer with the Giants?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, bro, first of all, that whole thing pisses me off, bro. The way he's being blackballed, and the guy was not guilty of anything. Right. Bro, I was just reading a story I forgot all about today because, bro, did you see that Chapman, what he did to did you see what he did today?
No.
Bro, he put this thing on his Instagram where he's laying in his mother's lap and he's playing with her. His mother.
Matt Chapman?
No, Aurelius Chapman.
Oh.
Yeah. He puts it on Instagram. He literally was feeling up his mom and he put it up on Instagram. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because when I'm reading the article, I'm reading that in 2016, bro, he domestic violence.
Yes.
He assaulted his wife. Bro, he got 30 games.
Yep.
And freaking Trevor Bauer, who was found guilty of nothing, is never going to play baseball again. And you guys know darn well, San Francisco is the last place that's going to hire him.
Yeah, but I wanted him to, to me, he's a perfect fit for a young team with some veterans that would, bring fire to the team, energy. Mookie Betts says he loves the guy.
It's a shame, bro. It really is, man.
Hey, Vince, wouldn't you love to have Bauer and Clevenger?
God, bro.
Bauer and Clevenger?
Hey,
both of them are innocent. Both of them are innocent.
That's San Francisco for you.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
bro, you know what killed me one year? You know where I absolutely turned on Kapler? Because he cost the Giants the playoff. And I'll never forget this, bro. Do you remember they were on a run? And then the George Floyd thing happened.
Yep.
And him and Roberts got together and, not knowing any of the facts or anything. Oh, we're not going to play today's game to make a statement. Bro, they were on a roll. They didn't play that night. And after that, bro, they went completely downhill. And when he made that move, that's when I was done with him, bro. You want to make a statement? Then how about sitting out for the rest of the year? What is one game going to do? Oh, we're not going to play one game. What is that going to do?
Hey, how about 1968 when LA was freaking on fire? Willie Mays came out and they're like, hey, they're going to play a game. They're going to do, because that's going to help. That gets people, you're thinking about something other than what's going on. You get that moment of, 2-3 hours of pure joy of baseball, and maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll help. That's what you do.
That right there, I was like, you got to be kidding me, man.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I'll say about Matt Chapman, if you look at his baseball card, he plays a lot of games.
Yeah.
He shows up. So, and with the left, I am excited with the left side of the infield defensively, because defense and pitching wins you championships. Mm-hmm. My concern is they're going with all these young starters and they're taking a chance. And it's like, they're just, rather than go out and make a trade, I would have been fine. To me, I would have gone after Bieber with Cleveland. I'd go after him. I would have used, some of my young pitching and, whatever it would be out there. I think you could go out and get Bieber. Today, who was traded? Dylan Cease. Yeah, he's only had the one good year, but
let me ask you this though, Dan. Do you think that Cease trade today, which came out of nowhere, bro? I'm watching Ken Rosenthal, like this was done in 24 hours. Do you think that forces the Giants' hand to get a pitcher now?
I do, because I think AJ Preller, whatever you got to say about him as a GM, he's as aggressive as they come, and I'm telling you, what he did was, he knew the Yankees were like going to go get Cease, and so he came in, he probably had already been talking. He says, all right, I'm pull the trigger. He goes for it. That's the one thing that I've had against Farhan, is he's been so tepid to make bold moves. You know what? You want to put a championship team out there. It's going to, last year, for example, you mentioned it, AJ Pollock. I mean, you were the number one seed at the time, first wild card, and you go out and get AJ Pollock. What does that tell you? What does that tell your locker room? Like, we don't believe in you guys enough we're going to be able to get it done. They needed, look what Arizona went and did. I don't like Tommy Pham, but they went and got Tommy Pham. They went and got the pitcher, the closer from Seattle. They went and got the third baseman kid that was playing, Jace Peterson. And they added somebody else, I can't remember, but just improving on the edges. It's what the old Giants used to do. I remember Al Rosen making trades, like in 87, the Giants, they just added so many guys at the trade deadline.
Kevin Mitchell. And then they did that big trade with San Diego, obviously. But he got Rick Russell. He got Bedrosian, the closer. It's like, man, when you do that, it just fires up your clubhouse. And it's like, they went for it. And they should have went to the World Series that year. They blew it against St. Louis. And then 89, they did it. And then you look at what Sabian did. He went out and he got the guys he needed. And Farhan just it was like, you had Webb and Cobb at the time. You just needed to add a little bit more, and who knows what happens. We saw what Arizona did. Baseball's, to win a championship takes some luck, some skill, but it takes a lot of luck, because you got to be healthy. Yeah. And the Dodgers,
I knew the Dodgers were in trouble in the playoffs last year because their pitching staff was
they had no
not
starting.
good at all. And what did the Dodgers do this year? They went out and got Yamamoto. They got Glasnow. They got Bobby Miller already. They re-signed Kershaw for late in the season when he comes back. So they're going to have 4 guys, and I don't remember who their 5th guy is. I don't know when what's his name's coming back. The kid from St. Mary's. That
May?
Bueller.
Bueller.
No, Bueller's coming back, but the other guy.
Sheehan? Oh, Dustin May.
No. Gosh.
Urias?
No, he's gone.
Urias is gone.
I don't even know if he is coming back this year. I think he had Tommy John, maybe. The kid, he pitched at St. Mary's.
Sheehan?
No.
Bobby Miller? Bobby Miller?
No.
No, it's a veteran.
Goslin. Tony
Yeah,
Goslin.
There you go.
Oh,
Tony
Goslin. That's right. That's right.
Thank you, 420. Holy smokes, 69 put it out there.
Tony Goslin.
I don't know when he's coming back, but they went out and fixed it. They knew that a certain number of their guys weren't going to cut it. You kind of know your team. They knew that they didn't have the horses to compete and win it all this year with just the pitching that they have with those young guys. So what did they do? They went out and fixed it. Oh yeah, they got Paxton in the back end as the starter too.
You know what though, Dan? I got to tell you, man. When you look, this Cease trade may be the best thing that happened. I think it forces their hand because they're competing with San Diego for a playoff spot.
Correct.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
I think, and not only that, Melvin. You got the ex-Padre manager who now they make a deal like this. This is one of the teams they're competing. This may force the hand.
I hope it does.
I mean, yeah, because San Diego, the one area, the hole they had was pitching because they lost Waka and Lugo, 2 of their better pitchers last year, and they lost Hader, and they lost Soto.
Mm-hmm.
So they lost quite a bit, but they still have Machado, Tatis, and Bogarts, and
Kim
and Kim and Cronenworth. So now that they add a little bit more pitching, they have Musgrove and they have Hugh Darvish, and now they got Dylan Cease. So they've got 3.
And that King is going to have a good year for them, man. He's good.
King from New York. They don't got any lefties in their rotation, do they?
Oh yeah, they lost Snell. Snell. That's right.
It's all righty. It's all righty rotation. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's going to be hey, we know the Giants are going to win 50. They're going to lose 50. What do they do with the other 62? Okay.
Good point.
I mean, and out of those 62 games, they need to be a good 10, 12 games over 500. So if you go out of those 62, you go 42 and 30. Is that 72? Wait a minute. They got to go 32 and 20. That would get you 90 wins. So they got it's they don't even really have to go that much over 500. 50-50, and then they got 62 left. I did my math wrong, didn't I?
You did your math wrong. You're right.
I did, yeah. They need to go
42 and 20. Isn't that what you said? That's
probably 37 and 20. Let's see, 35 and 27. 35 and 27. That gets you 85 wins. So they probably need to go like 37 and 25.
Yeah.
37 and 25 will get you in the playoffs with 87 wins. So
they get Snell. That makes it that much easier. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want Snell for a long term. I'm not giving him his money.
That's the issue.
I'm not. And for that, I applaud Farhan because I agree with him not going 5 years with today's money. I wish he would have went 5 years on Gosman because that was cheap money. Yeah. That was $20 million a year, roughly. And the games now they're wanting 30 million a year. You know,
Price just keep going up.
I mean, he's paying Robbie Ray 25 million. See, look at Farhan, what he does. He wouldn't sign Robbie Ray for the 5-year deal that Robbie Ray signed, but he'll take him for the 2.5 years. See, he doesn't want those long-term deals. And I just don't think he's going to go against that philosophy for somebody at, pushing 30. He would have done it for Yamamoto because Yamamoto is 25. He did it for Webb because Webb's what is Webb? 26 years old right now? 27?
I thought
27, I believe.
27, I think.
But
that makes sense for doing a 5-year deal, right? Because
it's not a ton of money. He didn't. Yeah. He took he bought out couple of his arbitration years, so he's getting more, but he's getting less than what he could have got on the open market as a free agent. But
he got analytical there. He thought that by giving the same amount of money to DeScalfini and Wood, that would equal Gosman. So he wanted to get 2 average players instead of 1 stud pitcher, and that's where he kind of gets a little bit too analytical in his research.
Agreed.
He was just looking at it like a stock, instead of having this one stock, which is risky, let me take a chance on these 2 mid caps. That's the part about him personally that I'm not crazy about. It's baseball. He's not a baseball man. He's a tactician, an analytical guy. He puts in things to a computer and it spits out stuff. And that Vince is personally why I'm not a big fan of him, is because that's not the game of baseball that I grew up playing.
Well, I think I agree with you, bro, 100%. But I think you got Melvin to balance that out this year.
Hopefully he balances him out.
You didn't have that last year, man.
Yeah.
I'm stepping out, Glenn, but I'm getting some water. My mouth's too dry. I gotta get some water. Be right back.
Lightweight.
Hey, Debbie Downer one's got to go get some water.
Lightweight.
Vince, why don't you plug your Twitch channel to everybody that's in here?
Yeah, guys, I am. I gotta go to Russo's. It's right there on the screen. Russo'sBrand.com, bro. I podcast every single day. A lot of wrestling greats are on there with me. We talk about a lot of things. It's like $4.95 a month, but there's so much content out there. If you like wrestling and you're a wrestling fan, just check it out. Russo'sBrand.com.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I got your all your information in the description, your YouTube channel, and also
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
And where to follow you on X.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, Dan, remember when you said you had a 20-minute interview with Michael Conforto?
Yeah.
You're never going to have a 20-minute interview with Farhan, bro, because you buried him to death, bro. He's never doing an interview with you, man.
No, I'm not getting any interviews with any more Giants. They put me on a blacklist. I'm telling you, they blacklisted me. I couldn't
let me straighten out this Cliff Martinez. Great stuff tonight, gents. Continue to bring on more great guests. No, bro, they don't need. Listen, what great guests? They need me, bro. You think any Johnny come lately is gonna come on here, bro, and be able to give the entertainment that I give? Bring on in more great guests. What, you think you can fill this seat? I'm the only one that didn't need a drink of water or have to piss, bro, during this show. We'll bring on more great guests. Yeah, bro. Who you gonna fill my shoes with? Dick Deep? Come on, man.
That is great.
Hey, Vince. Hey, Vince. Let me ask you a question that I asked Ned Coletti, because you're a New York guy. Here's the question: Goodfellas or Bronx Tale?
Wow, that's a good question. I would say Bronx Tale. I think
Me too.
I think Goodfellas went off the rails towards the end.
Yeah.
I think you kind of went off the rails.
How about Godfather 1 versus Godfather 2?
That's tough too, but it's got to be the original. It's got to be one.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey,
always
Vince,
like asking New Yorkers those.
You got some fans out there. Matt, he's a fellow chat member here. He dedicated. Vince Russo, you created a concept of brawl for all, right?
Yes.
I watch wrestling and everyone was bashing it, but I love the brawl for all the concept. If this is the Vince I'm thinking, he's my hero.
Yes, Matthew, I am your hero, bro. I am the hero of the people, Matthew. Yes.
There you go. There you go, Matt.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He can cut a promo, man. He can cut a promo.
I think we need to trade Dan for a play to be named later.
No, that's you and Ned saying I need to be traded. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Ned. What was it? Ned said, "I wish you were a GM," right? When he
Bro,
was,
he's a great guest, man. I
I'm gonna
could
get you
listen
on
to
here.
him all day. And you know who's another one who pisses me off out there in San Francisco? Are you guys all from the San Francisco?
Yeah.
You know who's another guy that pisses me off? And I actually have exchanged DMs with him. You know who's Debbie down in number 4?
here it comes.
The pig in the poke guy, Kruger.
Larry
He's
Kruger.
the worst, bro. He is bro. I have the next show I come on, I want Kruger to be on because I've DM'd Kruger. Oh my god, you would think Farhan. You would think Farhan was the second coming of Hitler with Kruger. Oh my god! Everything is Farhan's fault with that guy. Everything, bro. Everything.
Pig in a poke.
Pig in a pickle. What is it? Pig in a pickle? I'll give him a pig in a pickle.
That's a pay-per-view Halloween Havoc right there, Russo and Kruger.
He is brutal. Kruger, I love Kruger. I think the guy's great. He's brutal, bro.
Brutally honest, yeah.
Brutal. Oh, that's awesome.
He does a whole bunch of 49ers stuff, but he does go off on the Giants.
I know he does, yeah.
Oh, he didn't believe in Lee at all. He thought he couldn't hit a fastball here. I completely disagreed with him on that one.
Yeah.
Those Asian hitters, man, they make adjustments. They're very fundamental. Very fundamental.
Are you guys big fantasy players?
Yep.
For baseball or for football?
Baseball.
So here we go. Dan. Come on, Dan. Come on. We're trying to get a league together. I'm trying to get Dan.
I got 4 drafts this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're trying to do a draft of our own.
my Russo's brand. We got 4 leagues going. All my drafts.
Wow. That's a lot.
We're trying to get ours on NorCal Sports Network.
Oh, I'm in, bro. If you guys do that, I'm in.
All right, okay. We'll give you the information.
How many teams do you go, Vince? You go 10 or 12?
I have one league's a big money league where we go 10, and the other 3 leagues are 12.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. There we go. Dan, I'll get your contact information. We'll let you know what's going on.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, please do.
Oh, awesome.
I want you guys to know I will be keeping an eye on you.
Absolutely.
And if I find myself cutting promos in my bed at 11 o'clock at night, you're going to be hearing from me in the morning. Yeah, Diamondbacks. You're going to be hearing from me in the morning.
Oh, that's great. Oh, man. That is so awesome.
Look, God cut Dan's mic, bro, because he's wearing the Arizona hat. So God cut his mic. You see? Karma, Dan, bro.
Hey, I want to know, you know what you may guys see on this show this year? I'm debating. I don't know what the show feels about this, but I'm debating when we do a post game after every Giants game, I'm debating whether to have every team's hat that the Giants play this year, which is everybody, all 29 teams, and wearing that hat, whoever wins the game. So you could see me with a Dodger hat.
Shame on you.
Oh, my gosh.
Ah, yeah, I'm going to create some controversy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to see controversy right here on NorCal. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Who is that?
Look at that guy.
That's Tommy Lasorda's body that he superimposed my head on.
Good old Dodger Dan. Yep.
And I am waiting for my J.H. Lee jersey to come in the mail that I already ordered. Waiting for that to any day now that should be arriving. Yes.
Number 51. Yep.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Clip with another $2. Let Russo be heard.
Yes, Clip. Hold on, guys. Wait a minute. Yes.
There you go.
Wait, I think I have something for that.
They're turning on us already.
I want to talk about because I'm out here in Colorado. I want to talk about the rest of the San Francisco crew that covers the Giants that I saw them all on here. Who's this Terry Crowley character who can't even crack a smile? Crowley? Who's this guy?
He's a writer. He's a big writer.
How does he have a show and I don't have a show? And who's the other guy? Hooked on Giants? The guy with the big
Ben
glass?
Caspic.
Who is this Ben Caspic guy?
I don't know. We don't care for him.
Who are these guys, bro? You need a New Yorker. You need a New York. Yeah, pig in a pickle. Larry, pig in a pickle. Tell him Larry sent you. You'll get an extra roast beef sandwich.
Look at that, man. Vince, he's on it. He's on.
I'm a big fan of Larry's, though. I really am. That's why I DM'd him out of the blue and he answered me. But he's brutal on Farhan, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I've been on Larry's show. I'm one of his original guys on the Krug show. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's
Larry's the best, man.
Yeah, he is.
Larry's the best. I don't know if he's not on right now. Shoot, I was well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Vince, football wise, are you a New Yorker? Over your football team?
I'm New York Giants.
Oh, so you go Giants across the board, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you think about Barkley going over to the Eagles?
Hey man, it's business, man. You know, I learned that in wrestling, man. It's show me the money. It's show me the money, man.
Yeah.
It's show me the money. Show me the money.
No doubt.
Well, guys, I hope we could do this again real soon.
We absolutely can.
Absolutely. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
I hope I straighten you out. I went to bat for Farhan. Now the boys got to come through, bro. They got to come through.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what my name is? It's Robbie Realistic. Robbie Realistic Dan. I'm not Debbie Downer. I'm Robbie Realistic, and I'm telling you, I think the Giants. I will tell you this, Vince. You convinced me to bump them up above 500 tonight. I had them under 500, but I'm going to go 82-80.
I am going to say right here, write the date of this show down, Eric.
Yep.
Do something with yourself, Eric. Write the day. I am saying right here, right now.
March 13th.
The Giants are making the playoffs in 2024.
There we go. There's our short right there.
No doubt in my mind.
There we go.
And
Okay.
I didn't pick them to make the playoffs last year.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Right here, guys.
Yep.
Vince Russo, March 13th.
There you go.
Giants are making the playoffs.
You might be right. It's a weak group in that class in the 80 mid 80 range to low 80s. It's going to be I mean, you could probably even put Arizona in that group because I don't know how good they really are. I don't know if they're like a 90-win team or not. I think they're mid 80s. You got Cincinnati in there. You got the Cubs. Who wins the National League Central? I don't know if St. Louis is going to have a very good year or not.
Milwaukee took a hit today with
Milwaukee's not going to do good at all.
Yeah.
Cubs are winning that division.
Mets bounce back. We know the Braves and the Phillies and Dodgers. There's 3 teams. So there's 3 spots. One of them's coming from the National League West division winner. So there's 4. So who are the other 2? Is it going to be San Diego, Arizona, San Francisco, Cincinnati, the Mets, the Marlins? There's like 6-7 teams bunched in there. The Pirates could even surprise and have a decent year and hang in there and make a deal or 2. They got so much payroll money. That they can use. I mean, they're like a $90 million whole team, 100 million, whatever they're at. I don't know where they're at this point, but they way below the tax thing. But so we'll see. I think as Hiroku says, the Giants pitching will be worse unless all the starters don't get injured. Oh wait, they already.
All right. Everybody's a comedian, Harakui Hitaki, I swear to God, let me tell you something, Harakudi, Hataki. Let me tell you something. You people are forgetting their. You make it sound like their starting rotation last year was Seaver, Ryan, Matlack, and Koosman. Well, they had crapola last year, bro. Are you kidding me? Crapola they had last year. These guys cannot be any worse than the pitching they had last year. I don't care if they're double-A players, bro. Wood stunk, bro. Anaya stunk. Stripling stunk. Who pitched last year? Yeah, I swear people got short memories, man. And Dan had to go to the toilet again.
Harakui.
You know, everybody they're pitching. My God, who did they have last year, man?
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. This year's not much better.
Vince, what's going to be the 3-4-5 in the lineup? I think it should be. I think it should be Conforto, Soler, and Chapman. But they're talking about Wade in the 3-hole. I don't want Lamont Wade hitting third.
I didn't like today's lineup because Estrada was way down in today's lineup. What's that about? I thought he's batting second.
So did I.
He's got to bat second, bro. I mean, you got him and Lee at the top of that order, bro, taking pitches. He's got to bat second in that lineup.
Got it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Yep.
You gotta so you're guaranteeing playoffs.
Yes.
And what are we putting up on that?
Oh Lord,
bro! You know what? You know what? Too, you guys have not taken into consideration during this show, bro. Farhan's job is on the line. When your job is on the line, you're gonna do things you normally wouldn't do. And bro, come trade deadline, that dude's job is gonna be on the line.
That's a good point. We'll see.
I don't know if it's on the line this year. I hope it is. I hope they told him, you know what?
There needed to be something.
You better produce. You better produce, or we're not going to bring you back. But we'll see. We'll see. I think even if they don't make it, I think he's got one more year left in him because they gave him a 3-year deal, and I mean, he's done okay. He's done okay with this year. I just don't like the idea of just not going for it. I just hate playing around the edges and just trying to save every buck when you're a billion-dollar corporation. I hate it. Just go out and you got so much money. Just go spend some of the money and give the fans a team that they can get behind and actually be a favorite to make the playoffs, where it's like, hey, if the Giants don't make a playoff, something really went wrong because this team's, nobody's talking about the Dodgers. They're not even talking about the Dodgers not making the playoff. No one's even talking about them not winning the division. Yeah. It's like a foregone conclusion. Nobody's even saying, oh, we're going to try and win the division. No, we're just trying to win the wild. We're just trying to get in because it's because they went out and spent the money. They have it. The Giants have a ton of money. They may not have the Dodgers money, but they got a lot of money. And that's my biggest gripe with them is, you know what? Yeah, it's a little bit of money, but take some risk. That's what sports is all about. Yeah. Take some dang risk. Go out and spend some of that money. It might not work out. It might backfire. But you know what? Look at the 49ers. Look at the Warriors. They spend a ton of money and they go out to compete and win. It doesn't always work out, but more times than not, they're in the dance with a chance to win it all. The Giants haven't even given us that opportunity that's my biggest gripe is how they've run the team. Like, they're the Kansas City Royals. That's what's pissed me off so much. It's not that I, when I say I get on Farhan, it's because he took away the joy of me being a fan for 50 plus years of, seeing them wanting to compete, wanting to win, especially, once we got in the 80s, once we hired Al Rosen, it was like, okay, now the team has really tried to win ever since. We've had some down years, after like 03, or it was 05 to 07, 08, but they were rebuilding. Sabian was rebuilding it. They've always tried to win since Al Rosen came in and Bob Lurie, brought in these guys. They wanted to win. Now it's like all of a sudden the ownership group is like pinching pennies.
Yeah.
And I understand they had to pinch pennies when Bob Lurie was owner, and also prior to that, Horace Stoneham, they were running out of money. But my goodness, what they've built now it's not only the 5th largest in baseball, but it's one of the top. I think it's like, I can't remember what number. I want to say 37th in all of every sport, international. Like it's worth more than some of these soccer teams. So what are you doing pinching pennies? That's what I got pissed off about the whole JD Davis thing is, what? You want to save a few $1 million? I get it, but it looks bad. Just either trade him and pay part of the salary, keep him, pay the dang salary, and trade him later or whatever. But it felt like, they're just trying to
felt like
squeeze.
Sour grapes, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not what winning organizations do, in my opinion. I don't see people like treating you that way. Usually you see guys that with top organizations, they try to do right by players, like Crawford. It's like he ended up. See, my whole beef with Crawford, I wouldn't have re-signed him either. I don't think he was good enough to come back, but I would have told him up front, we're not signing you when they met in December. I would have left that meeting very clear. Brandon, if you want to come and try and compete as a non-roster, you're welcome to do that, but we're not giving you a roster spot, and we're not coming off that. Then Crawford would have had closure then. But somehow that message wasn't portrayed to Crawford. Otherwise, Crawford wouldn't have thought he still had a shot at him being signed. You just, where you stand in business when someone tells you blunt, right? I mean, you're from New York. When I lived back in the East Coast, one thing I loved about New Yorkers and people from Boston is they didn't talk to you if they didn't like you. If they didn't have time for you, they didn't bother.
And you're getting close to that line, Dan, with me. You're getting very close. Dan, hold on. See, now I've been on here with you guys for 6 hours, and now we're going to go down the Crawford Road. Dan, would Crawford have maybe gotten a hint when nobody picked up a phone and tried to negotiate a contract? Should that have not told the guy they had no interest in signing him?
Well, we don't know what was said at the meeting in Scottsdale when they met face to face. I think Crawford left that meeting feeling like
maybe there was something there.
Like there was something there, because he should have had closure. He should have said, I think Farhan went, well, maybe if things work out, we might sign you. We're just not sure what direction we're going to go. We're probably going to go with Luciano. And
bro, if Crawford didn't know coming off of the year he was coming off, he was delusional. He was awful last year, man.
Yeah, he was.
Eric, how many do we have in the chat now?
We got 364 in the chat. It might some may actually be on Twitter as well, though.
Yeah.
Hey, make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and make sure you go to Vince's Twitch
Russo
channel.
Meanwhile, we're gonna bring other guests. Bring other guests in here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's a shot at you, Cliff. That's a shot at you.
Yeah.
Hang in here for a little longer. I may have another special guest joining us shortly.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, add another Debbie Downer to the fire.
But real quick, is Ahmed? Is he that much better than what Crawford would have done? Is he that much better?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Ahmed is pretty good defensively. He's younger. He doesn't have the knee issues that
True.
His lower body's good. He had shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
But his legs are good. So
Gotcha. And that was Crawford's issue, was his knee.
That was Crawford's issue. It was his knee. I mean, he not going to stay healthy enough to play much. So I got the whole idea of not bringing Crawford back. I just think I would have handled it. That's me. I would have just been very, very blunt with it. But we'll see. So Glenn says playoffs, March 13th. What do you say, Los?
I'm going to be real, not just because Vince is here. I'm going to be real and say that they're going to be 78 and 84 and still miss the playoffs.
Oh, so you're saying they're going to be worse than last year's team? I think that's an impossibility. I
gotta see what happens with the lineup, and I gotta see what happens with the rotation. Because like I'm a big if they don't get starting pitching soon, and they're counting on Ray and they're counting on Cobb to come back, and even if they come back, they're going to be a little bit rusty. They're not going to go 5 innings. And I mentioned this last year. The Giants bullpen is going to be worn out because our starters are going to be going 5 and 6 innings, with the exception of Webb, maybe less. And come July and August, their bullpen is going to be wiped out. Now, Vince, you're right. If they are in the hunt, maybe Farhan learns a lesson and he gets a few more arms. I'll give you that. But as it stands right now, it's kind of a flawed roster. So to be determined. But right now, from what I see, about 500, a little bit less.
What do you say, Eric?
They're not making the playoffs. If they go in with this rotation, if it's going to be Webb, Harrison, Hicks, Jeffries, and Black, I guess, if that's what they're running with the rotation, they're not making a playoff. If they sign a top free agent, whether it's Montgomery or Snell,
Debbie Downer 1, 2, and 3, huh? And we got Vince. We got Kool-Aid drinking Vince.
This is you guys. Yeah, listen, we don't need any of you guys to do the show. Here's what we need to do. Mute your microphones, and when I see your mouths move, I'll just do this. I'll just do that. We'll do that for the whole show. How's that? How's that?
Oh, that's great.
Man, you guys. Oh my gosh.
You know what, Vince? We got something special for you, a NorCal special.
Oh no.
Oh, how dare you?
That's a
How
NorCal
dare
special.
you, Dan? How dare you?
Oh, you missed it. Dan will get on his inversion table occasionally.
Yeah, when the Giants season goes upside down, I'm going upside down on the show.
I'm going to remember this. You guys are all going to be eating a nice big plate of crow, man.
We might be. That's what I love about
we
baseball.
could be.
That's what I love about baseball is the conversation. It's awesome.
Yeah, we could be. We could be the laughing stock. We already are for some people.
This is enlightening because typically New Yorkers are quite pessimistic, and Vince is coming in here and going the complete 180 degrees. So it's
I told you, man, bro. I am the type of fan. When they're bad, I will say they're bad, man.
Hey, look at that, man.
I'm not a homer, bro. What are you talking? What's this KC now? Hey, you know what, KC? Listen, why don't you go back to your Sunshine Band, bro? Go boogie down with your Sunshine Band, KC. How about that, huh?
Oh, he got here. Look at this. They're smacking on you now, my chatters.
Look at look. This is Eric's writing all this stuff under these alias names, bro. Give me a break.
I'm innocent.
Hey, I just want to warn everybody in the chat. You don't make fun of the comedian on stage. Because he's gonna pick on you.
There you go.
Russo knows how to cut a promo. I mean, with years of wrestling. So
that's right.
Be careful. Be careful.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Oh man. So let me see. Hold on here. Trying to see if. So, are you doing the Are you still actively doing the wrestling promotions and stuff?
No, I podcast for a living.
Ah,
That's
yeah, you
awesome.
got you got a nice setup in there. Look at that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, bro. If you guys, I must have literally, I probably got about 50 autographed giant pictures on all these walls.
Wow.
You name them, I got them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you get an Oscar?
An Oscar for what?
I don't know. Maybe they're just joking there. I don't know what that was.
Huh?
I didn't get an Oscar.
All right, look who we got for you, Vince.
Debbie Downer number 4.
Debbie Downer number 4, the Mr. Pig in a Pickle Man.
Pig, hold on. Pig in a pickle. Yeah. Mr. Pig. Hey,
This should be good.
Farhan's public relations guy. Pig in a pickle. Yes. Hey, Larry.
Did they fire that guy yet?
Larry,
Oh,
it
he's
is
still
an
there?
honor. It is an honor and a privilege to meet you. I've DM'd you a couple of times, but bro, you're brutal on forehand. Now I could tell you face to face, bro. You are brutal on the man, Larry.
Well, it's only just begun, and and really that was my nice side. Wait until the game start.
Oh my!
Wait till the game starts.
Oh man,
Larry, I just predicted on March 13th that the Giants are playoff bound this year, bro. Playoff bound, Larry.
Really? Is there a new program they're giving teams eliminated mass tickets, or is that?
Hold on for a second. Where's my boo button?
Well, I could see why you would say they're playoff bound, because man, when you have Mike Yastrzemski and Austin Slater
he hates
on the corners,
you hate
there's 2 more people on this live stream than the Giants have viable starting pitching on March the 13th. You know what the hell? We can.
We got to embrace a New Yorker being positive, though.
I don't know.
I feel like what did this entire show get fucking hijacked and taken to Toontown and Disneyland or something?
Oh, is this something?
Where are we doing this show? Santa Claus Lane? I mean,
bro, you guys need to smarten me up. Is this like a San Francisco
if this
thing?
team were in
bury the Giants, bro.
Come on. If this team were in New York representing the Mets or the Yankees, there would be people out front with signs.
yeah.
Come on.
Bro, I live in Colorado and they're kinder to the Rockies than you guys are to the freaking Giants, bro. Like, seriously.
That's just legal marijuana. Everybody's high.
Oh, my gosh, man.
So, Glenn, boy, we're getting radio guys showing up here. We've got Glenn from Northern Lights out there, who's a professional radio guy. And we got Vince now, who's got his own podcast. And how many followers you got on Twitter? Like 72,000 or something?
Yeah, I think so. I think about that.
Yeah. So you got 72,000. I don't know if Larry was much of a wrestler. Los and Eric are big time into wrestling.
I'm going to say, as a matter of fact, tomorrow, I am going to send out a tweet to all my 72,000 followers. Guys, go to Pig in the Pickle and riot, bro. Riot at Pig in the Pickle, bro. Bring your pro Yaz signs and your pro Farhan sign. Bro, tear it down, bro, and Pig in the Pickle. How about that? 70,000 people strong. We're going to have a Pig in the Pickle tomorrow.
If Pig in a Pickle was as good a restaurant as Yaz was a hitter, they would have closed years ago.
Bro, that's brutal.
I mean, seriously.
That's brutal, man. That's brutal.
Here's the question. Where does Yaz, where did he get the pictures of Farhan, and when are we going to see them? When are we going to see them? When will they be revealed?
That is brutal. That's brutal, man. That's brutal.
I mean, is he related? My God. I mean, if you can be positive about this Giants team, I mean, seriously, they ought to send you to like when there's seriously, there's terrible earthquakes and tsunamis. They ought to send you to liven up the crowd. This guy once told Giants fans to be happy. Oh, I've lost everything, but where is he?
I don't get you guys, bro. I don't get I don't understand you guys at all, bro. I don't know what else you wanted this man to do in the offseason. What else did you want this man to do?
Let's just do a little review, since some of the facts clearly have been lost on you. The team was bought for $100 million in 1992. They're worth $4 billion right now. They made $421 million in revenue. They are one of the elite teams. They are one of the haves, but they don't act like one of the haves. They act like they're penny pinching, like they're worried about making every. There were suggestions that they would have to offload staff because of the downtick in revenue. They've got $421 million in revenue. They're one of the richest teams of all time. And then here's another thing. If Farhan's this genius, somebody send him a sales 101 deal. You always underpromise and overdeliver. He consistently does the opposite. So you want to say, why do people? Because he has revved up the expectations. There is no free agent that we can't have. We offered Shohei Ohtani $700 million. So you offered Shohei Ohtani $700 million, and you pivoted by doing Jack the rest of the offseason. I mean, you gave a KBO hitter $113 million guaranteed when there's no KBO hitter in the history of baseball that's ever really stepped in and kicked butt. That's a major risk. So, I mean, they talked Ohtani, they talked Yamamoto. It's no different. If you had a guy who was one of your good buddies who was sitting there going, man, I'm getting a Ferrari, I'm test driving Lambos, and then 6 weeks later he's at the goddamn bus stop, you'd heckle his ass too. And that's the Giants.
Yeah, but hold on a second, Larry. Hold on there just a second.
Here we go.
First of all, bro, as I said earlier in this show, prior to you coming here, how do you pin Ohtani, Yamamoto, Judd? How do you pin that on Farhan? He did exactly what he said he was going to do. He matched the money. Bro, Judge wanted to go to New York, Ohtani wanted to play for the Dodgers, and Yamamoto wanted to play for the Dodgers. It wasn't a money issue. He said there is no free agent big enough, there is no money. Yeah, bro, and he threw the money at them just like he said he would. Bro, they knew where they wanted to play. How do you hold that against the guy?
Because part of the job is to manage the expectations of the fan base. You don't get dragged around by the nose by the agents. You don't get played. He got played. He got played. He got played for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. What are you suggesting? There's no other plan other than get played by one of the biggest agents? Yeah, I knew Judge wasn't coming here, but he should have known Judge wasn't coming here. And it's like, managing expectations of the fan base is a big part of the freaking gig. I mean, you should be mad. This guy's honing in on your craft. You guys are both comedians at this point. I mean, this guy's not winning anything. Everybody in this room has as many rings as Farhan. I mean, he's not poor. He's rich. He's acting poor. Giants fans are tired of the parade of 4A garbage. This is a team that found a way to get it done 3 times in 6 years, from 2010 to 2014. It's like, you know what? Sorry, but that's what you inherited. I would say understand sales. Understand that you're managing expectations. I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, have you ever had a kid before? If you tell a kid, hey, guess what? We're going to the beach. He could be super happy, or he could be fucking pissed because you told him 2 hours earlier he was going to fucking Disneyland. and now he's going to the beach. You want to see an unhappy kid going to the beach? Tell him he's going to Disneyland 2 hours before. That's Farhan Zaidi right there. He's told Giants fans they're all going to Disneyland, and then he's delivering, the carnival in Pleasanton. And they're sitting there going, I thought we were going to Disneyland. Now I got some crackhead trying to put up a roller coaster and take it to Modesto in 6 weeks. I don't want to be here. I want to be in Disneyland. You'll like your crackhead and you'll take it. I mean, that's kind of where they're at, man. They haven't won jack. Their tickets are enormously expensive. Their general manager talks out of his ass constantly and underdelivers. Ding, 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 ding. Fan disappointment. Disappointment.
Oh, your crowd. We got a crowd cheering here, don't we?
I mean, what the hell? I mean, what do you don't, you know what? This is America. You don't just get to be cheered. You got age and tell a bunch of terrible jokes. They boo your ass off. That's called life.
As a fan of 55 years, I can sit here and say, and I can look at all those misses, and I can say that he did everything he said he was going to do. Money was not an object. We matched dollar for dollar. The players in play knew exactly where they wanted to go play, and there was nothing any general manager could have done to change their mind. So I am satisfied as a fan knowing he did live up to his word. He did offer the money. He did not nickel and dime, but those players clearly knew where they wanted to play. I don't know how you hold that against the general manager. So now we're going to take that same amount of money and pay to a pitcher, bro, that has 2 good years out of every 10. We're going to parlay that money to a mediocre player, Bellinger, bro, who had 1 good year after hitting 220 for 3 straight years. We're going to give them the same money. Come on, Larry, if that was your money, you would give that money to those guys? Come on.
Are you high? You're telling me that Cody Bellinger is a bigger risk than Jung Hoo Lee out of the KBO?
Jung Hoo Lee has.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
I'll bet you right now
Put your
that Cody Bellinger will have a better year than Jung Hoo Lee.
In what category are we talking? Jung Hoo Lee's not going to hit more home runs.
I'll let Dan decide. Anybody you want. I'll let Eric decide. I'll let Lowe's whatever you want to decide. At the end of the year,
I'll take that. I'll take that batting average.
Batting average.
Batting average. I'll take that.
Frank, give me the last KBO hitter that was awesome that came to the bigs. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Hey, I'll take that bet right now. Batting average. He's going to hit high.
Who's the last KBO hitter that's worth a damn? There isn't one. I mean, hey, guess what? When the pandemic was going on, guess what a lot of us did? We watched the KBO. Guess what we stopped doing when the pandemic ended? We stopped watching the KBO.
Okay,
why? Because the Major League Baseball was on, and Major League Baseball is a whole lot better than the KBO. Maybe you shouldn't be maybe we shouldn't be patting a guy on the back for signing a hitter out of the KBO to $113 million. And if you're so hung up on the Farhan tried, then go hang a fucking flag in center field at the end of the year. We tried, and let's see how people respond to that. The we tried flag. Well, the Dodgers they've got the NL West flags and World Series flags. You've got the we tried flag.
Hey, Dan.
It's a very expensive deal. And by the way, you act like this is year 1 of this regime. Farhan's been here for 6 freaking years, bro.
Hey.
If he was gonna jumpstart this farm system, why is all independent evaluations of the farm system say that the Giants have the worst farm system in their division? This is year 6. If this guy was so freaking great, Why didn't he get the division? Why didn't he get the farm system rolling?
I want to tell the people listening to this show, there's an old saying, don't meet your heroes. I liked Larry. I really liked Larry before he came on the show. I would watch Larry's show. I would be highly entertained by Larry, no matter what he said about Yaz or Farhan. But now I've met listen, man. Giants are making the playoffs. Lee is going to have a higher batting average than Bellinger without a shadow of a doubt, bro. I'll bet you pig in the pickle dinners for an entire year that he has a higher batting average than him.
Hey, bro, you're on.
Where's your faith? Larry, where's your faith? Where's your faith, man? Where's your faith?
He says you're on.
You're on. Bellinger hit 306 last year.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see.
And
yes.
Gabe, and you're cherry picking the only thing that probably Jung Hoo Lee is going to be able to do is probably hit for a decent average. Everything else, so now we're betting that Bellinger is not as good as Jung Hoo Lee because Jung Hoo Lee might hit 289 and Bellinger is going to hit 285. That's the only way I'm going to lose this bet. And then when we look at this, we're going to sit there and go, well, wait a second. What about the other stats? I don't know.
What about the other stats? Lee will have a higher average. He will score more runs and he will steal more bases.
Ooh.
One guy hits 25 home runs a year. The other guy's going to hit 5.
That's okay. He's not a home run hitter.
Well,
they're not paying him.
I'll still take that. Guess what? Do you know what Bellinger stole last year?
Yeah, I think he stole 20 last year, right?
Yeah. Do you know what Jung Hoo Lee stole last year in the KBO where he dominated? He was the MVP.
I think it was
less, fewer. So I mean, I'll take that too. I mean, I did you stop by the giant dugout before you stopped in on this podcast? I mean, what the heck? Is Larry Bear sitting next to you right now? And
he's got a lead jersey coming. He's got a lead jersey coming.
I ordered my lead jersey coming in the mail. Yeah.
I mean, you're a New Yorker who's
here's the bottom line.
You're super savvy about everything except when it comes to the Giants. And
Giants, like I said, they had outside of the Dodgers, they had the best offseason than any other team out there. They improved their team, which was the goal. They are a much better team going into this year than they were last year. Could they use more pitching help? Absolutely. Is it over? Is it too late? Absolutely not. I give the offseason a B+. I'm excited for this team. Was not excited last year. There was nothing to be excited about. I'm checking all the boxes, bro. This team's going to the playoffs.
What are you excited about?
I'm excited about Lee. We got a true leadoff hitter. Haven't had one since Brett Butler.
You hope.
We got a natural. We got a cleanup hitter, bro. We haven't had a cleanup hitter since Jeff Kent. So we got that one spot in the lineup, that 4 spot. We got maybe the best defensive infield on the left side of the diamond. We add a healthy Chapman. Chapman to that. He's good for 30 homers.
Chapman no 30 homers.
Chapman's gonna hit 30. Here's the other one. The game plan was to go with Marco Luciano and Casey Schmidt.
Yeah.
The game plan was to develop. Farhan announced it was a rebuilding year. Now he's going with Nick Ahmed and Matt Chapman. So where's the rebuilding there?
And it's Farhan's fault that Luciano's 1 for 18. That's his fault.
Well, no, but it's expectations. You told everybody, I don't know, wasn't 3 years ago. It was like 3 weeks ago that you were a developmental team. And now you're going with 2 cast off 30-somethings on the left side. So, I mean, it's like, do you see the mixed messages?
Yeah, but I also as a fan, I don't want to see on opening day a guy who's 1 for 20 in spring training, and when he came up last year, didn't do much, and Schmidt, who totally, crap the bed the last 2 months of the season, man, I don't want to, as a fan, no, I don't want to open up the season with those two guys in the starting lineup. They prove themselves. Yeah, you get them in the lineup. 1 for 20 when we're giving you the job on a silver platter and you can't take it, then no, you don't deserve to have the job. How is that on Farhan?
Well, first of all, it's all on Farhan because he's been the general manager for 6 freaking years. So who would it be on if it wasn't on him?
The players?
Every single move, every single guy on this roster is on the roster placed there by Farhan. So enough of this. Let's alleviate Farhan of no blame. I mean, come on. He is the general manager and has been the general manager longer than the president's been the president. I mean, come on. I mean, we're if you're gonna be real, be real. And as far as Casey Schmidt, I think Casey Schmidt, if he was allowed to play every day, would prop at third base. I mean, any Giants fan knows. I mean, what Giant third baseman? When the Giants promoted Matt Williams, they promoted him, they demoted him. They promoted him, they demoted him. It took him like 6 or 7 tries before he broke in full time. Casey Schmidt breaks in. He's a third baseman. They say, no, we actually need you to play shortstop. How many third basemen in the history of the game have been able to step into the majors, play shortstop every day and hit? So maybe the expectations
and then go
were
to
a little
second
tall.
base. Then they moved him over to second base. Made him a utility guy.
At the end of the day, Casey Schmidt is going to play the same third base that Chapman is almost, and he's going to hit you. Chapman's going to hit you 240 with 20 home runs, maybe. Schmidt's going to hit you 235 with 12 to 15 home runs. I mean, so enjoy your Chapman, but I mean, you had Casey Schmidt. I mean, I agree Chapman's a little bit of an upgrade, but is a little bit of an upgrade a reason to block one of your only major league caliber prospects that you've brought to the big leagues? I would say no on a team that your general manager told us is rebuilding. I mean, and this team's going to the playoffs.
Yep.
Your outfield is Jung Hoo Lee, Michael Conforto, and Mike Yastrzemski. And you're going to the playoffs with that outfield with 3 starters? That's going to be a neat little trick.
Wow.
he says, wow.
Sports
You met your
debate.
match. You met your match, Vince.
No, I didn't mean because here's
What? I mean, what's to say? I mean, Vince, I mean,
you got no
there-
faith. Larry, you
have
got no faith. Where's your faith?
You're
You got
right.
no
I
faith.
have
You
no
got-
faith.
Bro, if
Guess
Bob-
what? The
bro,
Giants
if-
are not my religion.
if-
I'm a
if-
Roman Catholic. I'm not. I have nothing. I don't need them. I've got what I need. I go to church on Sunday. The Giants aren't related to my faith in any way, shape, or form.
If I have a veteran manager with the track record of a Bob Melvin and what Chapman had played for Melvin for many, many years, if Bob Melvin says we need this player on our team in the clubhouse, then you know what? There's a reason for it. Because Bob Melvin knows this player, and it's not only what he brings on the field, it's also leadership and what he brings to the clubhouse, because there are a lot of young guys going through the system. So if you've got a manager that has a history with this player and says, man, I know there's a lot of promise in Casey Schmidt, but where we are right now, we need this guy at third base. I ain't going to second guess that, bro. I'm not going to second guess that.
Because
That's
Bob
a history.
Melvin was
That's a
what?
history.
Because Bob Melvin was 82-80 with the super talented Padres last year. I mean, Bob Melvin is a decent manager, but let's not pretend Bob Melvin is Tony La Russa, Roger Craig, all these guys rolled into one. I mean, come on. He's a decent manager. He's better than Gabe Kapler. But it wasn't like the Padres. You're telling me that the Padres, who finished 82-80, 18 games behind the Dodgers, are some, that the magic of Melvin? I mean, really? We're supposed to believe in the magic of Melvin? He had incredible talent. Look at his 3-4-5 last year. He had Machado. He had Soto. This year he's going to have Wilmer Flores and Conforto, but it's all going to work out. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, I understand it's March. I'd like to be optimistic in March as well, but I'm not high. I mean, it's not ridiculousness. The Giants are not a. You said they need a little pitching. They need a little offense. I mean, they were one of the worst offensive teams in baseball last year. They haven't added so much offense that they're, some juggernaut. They only have 3 starting pitchers. One of them's a relief pitcher. I mean, what's going to happen if the Giants lose 1 starting pitcher? What happens if they lose 1 starting pitcher? They're already starting the year with Mason Black in their rotation, most likely. Don't you see how amazingly thin their rotation is?
Here's Black's line earlier. This was only through the 2nd inning today. 2 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs, 2 home runs, 7 hits in 2 innings. Look at this lineup.
He's supposed to be like their number 4 starter.
Yeah, look at this lineup. Lee, Flores, Conforto, Soler, Chapman, Yaz, Estrada, Murphy, Ahmed. The only 2 guys that are going to be in there besides that are not in there today is going to be Wade and Bailey. The rest of those guys are playing almost every day. And I just think that's a lineup that is, we see him every day and we hear of Flores. Yeah, Flores can hit, Soler can hit. But what are you going to do when those guys start slumping, or Soler, who's injured a lot, is not in the lineup? And then you have Chapman in the 4 hole, and they're just going to, right-handed pitching will get Chapman out. Good. And then you got Yaz. I mean, I don't know, man.
But then bro, they were a 500 team last year with a manager that was the shits. Okay, let's be honest. They were unwatchable last year. Horrible, miserable. And they were still a 500 team. Bro, you've just replaced 3 guys in the lineup. You got a healthy Conforto. You got a guy that's not going to play analytics every freaking inning. We're going to go back to baseball. And you're trying to tell me that lineup you just showed me isn't heads and tails over last year when they were a 500 team? Come on, Dan, serious. You're going to compare Soler to Jock Peterson?
No, I'm just saying Soler's a big upgrade. Yeah, I like Soler. And I think Chapman, as Larry pointed out, is a slight upgrade over what Schmidt. You would get out of Schmidt. I think you'd probably get better offensive production, worse defense if you played Flores at third than you would with Chapman. But I think Ahmed, he's not going to hit. He's not going to hit at all. He's going to be an automatic out. Bailey's practically going to be an automatic out. Yaz is an automatic out.
I think Bailey will hit a little.
I don't think
Bailey will hit a little. Who was it, by the way, that said the Giants were going to kind of scrap the whole platoon thing and that they were going to play every day? Was that Farhan that said that, or was that Mel?
Farhan
said that. So that's bullshit. They're going to.
Well, Yaz will be platooned by May 1st. I guarantee.
As soon as Yaz goes,
they're platooning at first. They're going to platoon at short. They're going to platoon in the outfield on the flanks. But whatever. I mean, you know what? I don't want to ruin Frank's childhood moment. I mean, this is. I don't want to.
Who's Frank, bro? Who's Frank? Frank Barone?
Or who am I
Who's
calling?
Frank, Larry? Who's Frank?
Vince. I'm sorry. Vince. I don't want to ruin Vince's moment, but here's the deal. I mean, show me.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't deserve our faith.
Give them the opportunity to show you. Give them the opportunity to show you. Exactly. Give them the opportunity to show you.
Once again, I've been watching baseball for 25 years more. You need about 7 to 10 major league caliber starting pitchers to get through a Major League Baseball season. The Giants have like 4. I mean, so where are they getting the other 6 between now and the season? They're not,
bro. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna sit there and tell me the D-backs had 7 to 10 quality starting pitchers last year.
Over the course of April through the playoffs, I guarantee you they use.
I guarantee you not.
Well, they're okay. So now we're taking the one team that
They
had
went to the
two
World
good
Series,
starters.
bro. They went to the
And
World
They were
Series.
taking the one team that had Gallen and
Kelly.
the righty Kelly.
Period.
Then they
Period.
had Fott that came on.
And he
But
had a
you're taking
horrible regular
one
season.
the one team. You got to have starting pitching depth. Look at LA's depth. Look at the Diamondbacks' depth. Look at the Padres' depth. Look at the Giants' depth. I mean, the only way the Giants even have a chance to be a playoff team is if Logan Webb goes to the post 32 times. If Hicks, Jordan Hicks goes to the post 32 times. And I mean, we're talking about a guy who was a relief pitcher last year. I mean, they're so unbelievably thin in their starting staff that it just discounts it right there. And offensively, are they better? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're better.
Come on,
They're
Larry.
they're literally the
Stop.
same. They're the same behind the plate.
Ridiculous.
They're
That's
the same at
ridiculous.
first. They're the same at second. Last year, Crawford was really bad at short. This year, you have Nick Ahmed. I think they're basically the same at short. Third, they're a little bit more solid because of Chapman. In the outfield, it's the exact same outfield. So what? They're better this year because they're older. And Jung Hoo Lee, you're putting that much on Jung Hoo Lee? Doesn't that seem a little unfair to take a kid out of the KBO? I mean, you know that the KBO is the equivalent of high A or double A. And so that's what he did. He put up those numbers in high A and double A. But guess what? Luis Matos put up fatter numbers in double A in the States, and he didn't hit like that. So why is the assumption that this kid who lit up the KBO is going to just be awesome? What if he's in reality more like a 265 hitter with 5 to 10 home runs, 5 to 10 steals, good defense in center, but not much of a throwing arm? Because from the people that I've talked to, that's what he's going to be. Now, if they gave him enough money where he has to hit 300. He has to lead off and play center field and do both jobs incredibly well. That's a tall ask. That's an unprecedented tall ask. Can we at least agree on some of the basics of what we're talking about here? This guy.
I will say this because I will say this because I've been on Lee from the beginning. I've seen Lee play 3 times this year in spring training. Not reports. I've seen him with my own eyes. I've seen him turn around 97 to 98, and he didn't go the opposite way. He pulled them each time. So the thinking that he can't hit a fastball.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about.
We could say it's spring training or not, but 98 in spring training is 98.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what I'll say? The comp.
Hit the fastball.
I'll say a better comp of instead of Matos and versus Lee. How about Wade Meckler, who tore up A-ball so much that they moved him to double A. He tore up double A so much that they moved him to triple A. He tore up triple A so much that they brought him to the majors. He stunk in the majors. He couldn't hit. He looked like he belonged in low A ball when he came up to the majors. Lee's not going to have a problem with the fastball. He's going to have trouble with the off-speed pitches.
Yeah, he's going to
when they start setting him up, and they set him up with an off-speed pitch that's coming in at 82, and then they throw a 97-mile heater past him, because in the KBO you're throwing about your high one is about 92, and your off-speed is like 88. So there's not much difference between the pitches. When these major league pitchers have so much nasty stuff, that's why Meckler couldn't hit. And we're seeing Meckler hit pretty well right now. But we're also, one thing about spring training is you're not facing top level starters all the time. You're facing guys that aren't even going to make the team. So I think he will hit okay, but is that going to be enough? I think he might hit 285. He's projected to do that. But does he hit a 285 that is a productive 285?
He's got to have the guys to drive him in.
Yeah, he's got to hit a productive 285 when when he can't be getting his hits when he's coming up with 1 or 2 outs. He's got to lead off games with hits, and and then they got to drive him in. Because if you get your hits as you wrap around the order and you come up with nobody on and 2 outs, and all of a sudden you get your hit, he's got to be getting a lot of leadoff hits to start games, and he's got to be putting pressure on the defense. I think he probably gets it. It's probably going to take him a little while, though. And you know what's going to happen? If he starts off hot, they'll figure out where his weak spot is, and then he'll have to adjust, just like any other. So I'm kind of like, I like Soler. But basically, if you look at this lineup, the only additions to it are Lee, Soler, and Chapman. That's it. That's your only true additions. Forget Ahmed. That's a wash. He's never hit well.
He's never hit right.
So offensively, you're basically going with Lee, Soler, and Chapman. And both Soler and Chapman are hit or miss. They either smash the ball with high exit velocity or they strike out a lot. And if those guys happen to come up in key situations and they're struggling, one of the two struggling, what's going to happen? They're going to pitch around the guy that might be able to be a little, and they're going to pitch to the guy who's struggling, because that happens all the time in baseball. Guys are struggling, and he's the weak spot in the lineup, and they get pinched around. I would not put those two back to back like they're doing. I would not put Soler and Chapman back to back, because one of them is going to be struggling most of the time, because I don't think Matt Chapman, if you pull up his back of his card, I don't think he's hit 250 in the last 5 years. And yeah, he had a hurt finger last year, but he hasn't hit for average wise. And you know what? I'll just pull him up. I'll just look it up, because
while you're doing that, will the Giants score a couple of more runs this year? Yeah, I think they'll score some more runs than they did last year. But what about run prevention? That's my issue. Starting rotation. You cannot start the season with Webb, Harrison, Hicks.
Oh, okay, but Eric, but we could start this season with Stripling, Descafani, Manaya, and
garbage too.
And Wood. We those 4 aces, bro.
No, I get it, but it's going to be.
I swear to God, I'm going to say it again. You guys talk like last year the Giants had Siva, Kuzman, Matlack, Ryan, like. Their starting rotation sucked last year, bro. I don't care if these guys are rookies or AA plays. They can't be any worse than Wood and DeScafani, bro. Come on, man. Sean Manaya's ERA was 8 the first half of the year. Come on, man. What are you talking about here, bro?
I feel like I see a scroll at the bottom of his picture. Is that the number for tickets at the bottom there? I feel like.
Listen, I want everybody to show up at Pig in a Pickle tomorrow. All my 71,000 strong. You wear your black and orange, bro. Man, Larry, you're gonna eat. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fix you a nice large plate of crow, bro. And I'm going to say, here, Larry, here's your crow, bro, at the end of the year.
Let me say this.
Are in those playoffs, baby.
Today is March 13th.
That's right.
The team that they currently have on March 13th is not going to the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Now,
correct.
They could make moves. They could do a lot of things. I mean, there's a bunch of free agents still available. You could go sign Snell and Montgomery. You could have an incredible rotation, but they're not going to. But you could. So, I mean, I'll just say this. I'm rooting for them. Go Giants. But I will say this. I don't believe. I'm not going to sit here and tell people on the 13th of March that I do believe, just so so I'm not Debbie Downer.
You know what, Larry?
I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but you're asking me real questions. I'm giving you real answers.
Larry, as a New Yorker, I'm going to tell you a little story. There was a 1969 Met team that didn't believe, bro. Nobody believed in that team, bro. They were cellar dwellers. And what happened to that team?
Well, they had Nolan Ryan and Tom Seaver.
Yeah, they had Nolan Ryan, who used to walk 10 people every 3 innings back then.
Yeah, no, I know my baseball history as well. But you know what? You're talking about a team, they called that the Miracle Mets.
All right, so we got the Miracle Giants.
So basically what you're saying is that we're going to see a miracle. We're going to see the equivalent of Farhan Zaidi walking on water. That is about what it is going to take for the Giants. It is. You're right. I totally agree with you. It's going to take a miracle for the Giants to go to the playoffs this year.
Bro, I got to tell you guys something. If I am a Giants fan and I'm listening to you guys in my car driving on my way to work, I am finding the nearest bridge and driving off of it, bro. I'm driving off of it, bro. If I am hearing this, I swear to God, bro, they put the Rockies over here in Colorado more than you guys put the Giants over.
You know what? This isn't Toontown, and we're not the characters. You know what? It's not my job to make people happy about Giants baseball. It really isn't. And if people, guess what? There's enough people serving up rim jobs to the Giants that this will come across as a nice little relief.
Hey, look at Chapman's batting averages there. Look at that in 2021. Forget 2020 because I don't even count that year. 210 batting average, 202 strikeouts. I mean, he hit 27 homers, but this is only 72 RBIs with 27 homers. I mean, 210. Next year, he improved to 229, 170 strikeouts. Again, 27 homers. Last year, 240. He was hurt a little bit with his finger, I understand. But this is a lot of strikeouts and a low batting average. You're basically getting his glove. I think Casey Schmidt could, like Larry said, 235. I mean, Matt Chapman's average for the last 3 years, if you combined them, is roughly about 220.
Yeah, and also, Dan, his
about 225.
His 162 game average is also 29 homers and 80 ribbies. Schmidt's going to do that?
No, I think Schmidt would give you probably
half of that.
12 homers and 55 RBIs.
Okay, well, 29 and 80 is his average over a full season.
But you know what? If you have good pitching, wouldn't you rather have the money put into solid starting pitching, develop Casey, and get a little bit less production at the plate? I don't think you'll get anything less in the field because I've watched Schmidt this spring, and every time I've seen him, he's made spectacular play in every game. I think Schmidt would give you great defense, not as high as production, but you know what? You'd give him one more year of development, and next year you might be ready to really take off.
Clay Bellinger's got a few of those Mendoza line batting averages on the back of his playing card. And I'll tell you this, the thing about baseball, I always say this, is we just don't know what we're going to get, guys. This is 2024. This is not the 70s or 80s when we can basically pretty much be close to predicting what certain players are going to do, especially superstars. This is 2024. We don't know what the fuck we're going to get. Conforto could hit 30 homers this year. He can hit 8. Lee could hit 320 and he could hit 250. We don't know. That's what makes these debates, beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Baseball
That's the beauty of baseball.
You just don't know.
That's why you got to have faith, man.
Every team in the big leagues in March can point to some path to win 90. The reality is the over-under on the Giants in Vegas today is 82.5.
Right.
They're thought to be a 500 team. So we'll see. Maybe you're right, and they'll be 5 or 6 games over 500. That's still the
2021. Nobody had the Giants.
That's what I'm saying. How many games did Vegas pick them to win the year they won 107? 107.
So now we're going to go to the biggest aberration season in the history of Giants baseball.
Larry,
use that as a reason that they have a shot.
Listen to me.
Come on, man.
Larry, listen to me.
Yeah, there's no end. There's no end to this.
I still like you. I'm a big fan of yours, but I'm gonna give you one opportunity. Apologize to Farhan and Yastrzemski for all the negative karma you have spread on the airwaves and on podcasting all the way out here to Colorado. I'm going to give you one opportunity. Apologize to Yaz and Farhan and say, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what happens.
Well, guess what?
And you could even sponsor that by Pig in a Pickle.
We will let's see what happens, because it's not like the season is going to happen. So we will get a chance to see it. There's no reason for me to apologize to anybody for telling people how I honestly feel about the San Francisco Giants. I'm here doing it. Dan does it. Eric does it. Los does it. We're basically the only people in this entire market that actually stand in front of a microphone and tell you how we honestly feel without being impacted by whether or not we're getting a free hot dog in the press box, whether or not we're getting credentials. Almost everybody who's telling you great things about the Giants is directly benefiting for telling you great things about the Giants. So I will absolutely celebrate our independence, and I'll tell you what I think they are. I think there's a path to 90 wins. It's not impossible, but there's about 19 ifs. And I'll say this, the team that I'm looking at right now, no shot. But things can change. Farhan added Soler really late. He just added Chapman super late. He could wind up adding, Blake Snell. He could wind up adding Jordan Montgomery. He could wind up making an amazing trade. The Giants, it's today you're not winning. But if you can get a couple more starters, someone's like, Groot getting old, he sucks. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. The team they have today has just a puncher's chance of making the playoffs. And when you have the kind of revenue that they have, when you're charging the kind of bucks that they're charging, I think their fans deserve more than a puncher's chance at a playoff berth. Yeah. And the reality is that the only reason they're getting a puncher's chance is because they keep adding teams in the playoffs. It keeps becoming easier. Well, there'll be a playoff team. What does that even mean? I mean, how many wins is it going to take to qualify for the playoffs? You basically could be 500, 3 games over 500 to make the playoffs, right? Can't you make the playoffs with like 85 wins?
Yeah, the Diamondbacks did it last year with 84.
So what are we talking about? I mean, everybody makes the playoffs. It's baseball.
Yeah, I mean,
baseball in 2024.
Absolutely. I think that's a very good summary. I feel pretty much the same. They have a puncher's chance. I would agree if everything goes right. When everything we talk about everything going right, guys stay healthy, guys that get hurt, guys step in and have a great year, and you don't miss the guy that's hurt until he comes back, and those things. Kind of like 21 when people stepped in and everything just went unbelievably great. I think.
What are they going to get from Ray and Cobb when they come back?
You don't know. We don't know. I mean, if you get the old version of 23 of Cobb and you get 21 Robbie Ray, you got to, and you're in the playoff hunt and you got Webb pitching like he did the last 2 years, and then you get old Cobb of 23 and you get Ray of 21. Now you got a chance to win a series, a 5-game series, because you're throwing 3 guys that are solid pitchers. But that's a risk. You're taking a risk, because are you going to be in position to be in a playoff spot when Robbie Ray comes back? Because he's going to come back. He's probably going to take 5 to 7 starts before he starts, getting back into where even close to what he was. Generally, most guys with Tommy John takes 18 full months before they're back to where they were prior to getting, injured. So, it's more leaning toward, next year. I mean, Farhan making the trade, I gave him credit. I thought it was a great trade getting rid of Haniger. Okay, here you go, Vince. I said it was a great trade to get rid of Haniger and DeSclafani for Robbie Ray, because Robbie Ray, I think he makes them better for next year, possibly this year. if everything goes well and he's okay to pitch and he does okay, you might get him in the playoffs and be really productive. But more likely, it's a good deal for next year. Now you got Webb, Harrison a year in, longer, and you got one of the younger pitchers, and you've got Robbie Ray for next year. Next year, you actually have a pretty good shot of being, a better team. So that's my whole thing is I would take the money right now that you are holding back on. As I said, the Dodgers, you can't even compare the organizations. The Dodgers said, this is what we want. We're going to go get it. And they didn't wait around for prices to drop. They just went and paid top dollar and got everybody. They made the trade for Glasnow earlier. They got obviously Ohtani and Yamamoto early. Then they went and got Teoscar Hernandez. They did all this crap in December and early January while Farhan is sitting and waiting for this bargain to come down and hopefully get the guy. What is he going to do if that plan doesn't work? If Snell and Montgomery sign somewhere else because they got the deal that they were looking for and Farhan wouldn't budge. So, I mean, how about going out and making a trade for Corbin Burns? No. I mean, he's today, Dylan Cease. He's constantly, Giants were in on it, but does they ever get anybody of risk? There's never any risk. I mean, even the trade for Robbie Ray, even though it was a good trade, there was no risk. It was basically a wash in contracts. And so I want to see him take a risk because they got the money to do it. And I don't think the Giants, what Larry said, I think the fans deserve to actually be excited about the team. And they actually could be. Imagine going into this season, everybody sees it that they don't have enough starting pitching. And they say they're going to go with this youth movement. Why would you go sign Soler and Chapman if you're going to go with a youth movement with pitching?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't add up. Yeah.
Larry, what does your eye test say on Kyle Harrison?
I mean, I like him, and I met him, and I've talked to him, and I've seen him pitch. He played against my son in high school. He throws hard, and but there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be bumps in the road. That's all I'm saying. And here's the thing. You're right. We are, and I'll say, forget we. I am incredibly negative on the Giants. But here's the thing. You talked about that crap manager. Who hired him? This general manager. The disaster that was Gabe Kapler. Who endorsed that? Farhan Zaidi. Last year, we're at the trade deadline. The Giants had a shot. They had a shot. Farhan's talking up big names. There is no deal that's too big. He delivered A.J. Pollock. A.J. Pollock had no hits and was released 3 weeks later. From that point onward, the Giants sunk like a stone. So forgive me if I'm not in the way to go Farhan. I haven't what has that guy done other than put together just a world famous boiler since he's been the general manager? What has he done? The 21 year was totally lucky. That was the most lucky year. And those were all Sabian's guys. So doing the job is about developing the farm system and using your what you do have, your wealth, to build your roster. He wants to nickel and dime everything. I think he's very uncomfortable spending real money because he knows real money bring real expectations. He takes very little chances, and then out of nowhere, Jung Hoo Lee, who's a major risk. So, I'm rooting for them, but you know what? I've seen them go through last year's trade deadline, huge disappointment. Last year's offseason, huge disappointment. This year's offseason, huge disappointment. I'm not as encouraged by these guys. I love Soler. I think that's the best move they've made. And I think, and I'll root for them. I'm a Giants fan till the end. I just can't pick them. I just can't pick them to win.
All right, man. What a show. 400
I know.
people hanging out.
It's a great debate. That's what I love about baseball. We're all fans. We're all fans of the San Francisco Giants. It's just we have different thoughts.
Yeah, I better put my other hat on, huh? I was it's like I've already, I kind of there we go. How's that? Since we're talking fans, I don't know. I kind of think being a fan, I'm a fan of my wife too, but she loves me back. She actually, makes me pretty happy and cares for me. Being a fan,
Give it time, Dan. Give it time.
being a fan of the Giants is kind of tough when you get this Papirski, Michael Reed, Connor Joe, Dixon Machado, Michael Ford. I could go on and on and on with the nobodies. And I think that's what's been so exhausting is this endless parade of guys. What happened to TJ? What was his name?
TJ
Hopkins.
TJ Hopkins.
He's gone. Yeah.
Cooper Hummel.
He's back in the minors. He'll get, if they sign somebody, he'll probably be the guy that gets DFA'd. It's this endless parade of all. Mike Gerber. Thanks, Turd Ferguson. Mike Gerber. How about that guy?
Temporary answers, not long-term solutions.
Constantly. And it was in year 5. And then we did a show last night on the minor league system. We did it from Jim Callis, who ranked the Giants number 1 last year as far as the best draft, but so it's not like he's being biased. He has them at 17. The Dodgers, the Padres, and the Diamondbacks are ahead of them. 17th. And we pulled up the list and they showed everybody on there that said who made the playoffs. And the list was pretty darn accurate all the way back to 15. They showed the Cubs when they were ranked high. And then they showed all these teams that were ranked high in the top, tier of teams. They all went on to have playoffs. The Giants have not even been ranked above the top 15 in Farhan's tenure. So I thought he was brought in, according to Larry Baer, to make the farm system like the Dodgers. And the Dodgers, we read last night, are 8th, and they've been as high as 1. The Dodgers are at the lowest point as a farm system in the last 5 years, and they're at 8 in all of baseball. How does that continue to happen? And
I'm getting tired of all this negative talk. Let's all get a cha-cha bowl and hit the bleachers. Let's get a cha-cha bowl and hit the bleachers. If it's on me, I'll buy beers. We'll chant. I'll buy us panda hats. It's going to be amazing.
Vince, who's your connection with the Giants for tickets?
Russ Stanley.
Larry, he's coming to San Francisco, so let me know when you're going out there. I'll fly out there for that.
Bro, let me tell you.
I love Russ Stanley.
Yeah, I've known Russ for 25
We're gonna give Vince the last word tonight before we
close. The last word, Larry, and Dan, and Eric, and Los. Here's the last word.
Los.
What's Los? It's Los in New York.
I'm sorry for your Los. I really am.
All right, Frank. Dan, here's what I'm going to leave you with.
Don't call me Dan. Call me Debbie Downer 2.
I got another prediction.
You're talking to a man, Vince,
it's a legend,
who's behind a barrier wall in Arizona where you have to have a 5-digit code and a wink to get in. So, this is a very safe man right now. He's he's ensconced. The way that Farhan is ensconced, Coach Emilio is ensconced.
On March 13th, I predicted that the Giants it's March 14th now. So on the 13th and the 14th, I predicted the Giants. Here's my second prediction. When the Giants start off the season 20-8.
Oh God.
You guys are going to be avoiding me like a plague. Like pig in a pickle down there, Frank. He's going to be avoiding me and I'm going to be emailing, texting every day. Dan, I got your email now, bro. Every single day when we're off to that 20-8 start, bro. And I told you so, Frank. You're gonna avoid me like the plague, bro.
20-8.
20-8.
Hey,
Wow.
if they're
20-8 going into May 1st.
Something tells me that 3 weeks from now, we're gonna look back on this live stream, and instead of remembering you as Vince or Frank, you'll be remembered as that guy who was best friends with the giant ticket sales guy. You remember the guy who's trying? You remember the guy who's friends with the ticket sales guy who came on in middle of March? That guy, yeah, that guy.
Blame it all on Russ. Blame it on Russ.
There you go.
Oh man,
That's awesome.
great show, man. Great show.
I had a blast, you guys. I'm so glad you brought me
to have
on.
you.
This is awesome. Awesome.
We will have you back.
Absolutely.
Man, we're gonna put you and our buddy. I see him. He just put in the chat. Northern Lights, Glenn, who's got he's a DJ and used to announce was the play-by-play for the Edmonton Oilers, I believe it was.
That's what it was.
He was a play-by-play guy for the Edmonton Oilers, and we had him do a little play-by-play for us the other night. But we got to get you and him on because you guys got some talent to bring to the show, and some. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, and
I like the opposing viewpoint too. I love it.
Yeah, we got we got an opposing viewpoint, but we're going to frame
and
this.
don't forget, Vince, the very memorable saying that I think you ought to live take as a moniker, take as a guide going forward from the former First Lady Nancy Reagan. Just say no. Just say no.
Well, listen, I'm gonna go to.
No. There's a lot of mean drugs on the street. Just say no.
I am going to go to bed tonight, and I'm gonna sleep peacefully because I think I made a dent in Larry here, bro. I think I changed his mind a little bit. I think I made a little bit of a dent.
You're right. You're right. I'm gonna go do a video right now. How about those Giants? And the road to 90 starts here. Right there.
At 20-8. At 20-8.
Brought to you by Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville, Corte Madera.
I think something tells me that there's better odds that they're 8-20 than 20-8.
Debbie Downer.
The Giants can win this division if the Padres and Dodgers team flights collide over Denver. There's a chance that the Giants could take on Arizona.
Where's the nearest bridge? Where's the nearest bridge?
Oh man, it is great having you, Larry. Good to catch you, man. Man, for all you guys, I know everybody knows Larry's show out there, but he's killing it over on the Krug Show. Over 40,000 subs in 2 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
40,000 subs in 2 years. Started awesome. March of 22. Here we are, March of 24. He's got 40 freaking thousand subs.
Would have been 50. Would have been 50 if I'd gotten on that Farhan positive train.
It's not too late, man. It's not too late, Larry.
Now,
come
Larry,
on, boys, jump aboard.
Larry's got 49ers news. I mean, the thing I love about football is look what they're doing.
Nonstop.
We've had free agency started in baseball November 4th. There's been more signings in football in like 24 hours than there was in 5 months in baseball.
That's a whole nother discussion for sure.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And more to come. Is any news on Bosa? I didn't on Joey Bosa. Didn't hear anything today.
Nothing new. Nothing new.
Okay, I saw that they did release the receiver San Diego.
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams. Yeah. Do
Well,
you
the
think
Niners had a linebacker change their mind and go to Dallas instead.
No, Kendrick left?
Yeah, he left. He went to Dallas instead.
No state
No
taxes.
way.
No state taxes in Texas.
They lost Kendrick?
Well, his longtime DC was Mike Zimmer from the Vikings, and Zimmer's in Dallas.
Oh my goodness. So what do they do now for a linebacker? They obviously want
Play Jalen Graham. That's what they do. Play
They
Jalen
could sign
Graham.
Devin White.
Yeah.
Devin White. Yeah, he's a free agent.
Yeah.
They
The
got to
guys
get
right
somebody.
under their nose. Like play
Wow.
young guys, Shanny.
I was
Don't get me
liking
started
that.
on Shanahan.
I was liking that Kendrick signing. I thought, he was a baller. He's a guy that, loved Warner, loved the way the Niners played and the intensity. And I thought, shoot, that was a perfect fit for their scheme. And
I'm sure Farhan had something to do with that, bro. I'm sure he probably had something to do with that, bro.
I would
You
think
know?
so.
I would think so. Yeah.
I mean,
Blame it on Farhan, bro.
Hey.
Listen, blame it. Whenever there's a problem, blame it on Farhan, bro.
Farhan and Shanny are the same cloth about not playing younger players, though.
Yeah,
that
see
they
that?
have in common.
I'm not.
Why would you
Shanahan
blame
or Farhan.
Farhan, man? He just got here, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I mean, I don't blame Biden for anything either. I'm blaming, like 4 presidents ago. You got to give guys time, man. You got to give guys time. It's a famous quote from, I think, FDR.
10-year plan. Yeah, Farhan's on a 10-year plan. We will see. We shall see. I'm not even putting Farhan and Shanny in the same conversation. No way. Shanahan's at least took him to the edge of times.
I'm just saying about playing younger players. That's what I'm saying. No, Shanahan's definitely more successful, but playing younger players, no, they're the same.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this year. They've got some moves still to make. Should be interesting. Couple of days. I mean, today was the official day of signing, right? Or no, is today Tuesday or Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. Yeah, today was the official day they could actually sign. Today they could sign, right? So they lost Kendrick. Oh my goodness.
You lost Kendricks. Yeah.
Jeez. So yeah, Devin White would be good. There's a lot of. Do you think they'll sign any of the free agent? Do you think they'll sign any of the free agent tackles out there, Larry, or interior guys at all? Or you think they're just going to wait for the draft and maybe draft tackles in the draft and move Zakel inside?
I mean, the Niners' game plan in the last 4 or 5 years is to, if they have 20 free agents, let 18 of them walk, re-sign 1 or 2, and then go out and sign a couple of free agents, not a lot, and wind up with comp picks. And that's, I think, their plan. So I do think they'll sign a couple more free agents, but I think it's unlikely that they're impactful guys. It's more complimentary guys. I think they'll lean on the draft, especially for the offensive tackle. Trent Brown's there, but there's not a lot of options there.
Now you're Vince. You say you're a New York Giants fan?
Yeah.
So didn't they sign? Didn't they get a running back in place of Barkley? Didn't they get?
They got Swift.
That's right. No, not Swift.
No, they didn't get Swift.
I thought they got. What'd they get?
Are you sure
I don't know.
they got a running back already?
I'm not sure, but Joe Mixon, didn't he get traded to Houston?
Hey, Houston, making some moves.
Look, hey, Los, you're gonna like this. When I saw they got Hunter, I said, what's their odds? I looked at them, the futures plus 2,100. I threw 25 down to win 5 1/4 on Houston. It's probably I'm gonna hopefully it doesn't happen. I hope the Niners win it, but if not, man, why not? I like what they're doing. I do like the trade that the Niners made though with Houston for the defensive tackle.
Malik Collins
looks good.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm looking at the Giants free agent deal. What did they do? They got Where's the list here?
He's still got Daniel Jones.
They got Drew Lock. They got Drew Lock, the quarterback
From Seattle. Okay.
Yeah, they're talking to AJ Dillon from Green Bay. But let's see what they've been big spenders. I think. Let me double check this. They have gotten some guys. I think
they did. Football's amazing how many free agents there are. I mean, it's like feels like half the league's free agents. It's unbelievable. I mean, there's a lot of good players. I mean, what'd you think of
Eric L says that they got Singletary from the Texans.
Devin Singletary. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's all right.
He's okay. What'd you think?
Wait a second. They traded for Brian Burns.
That's what it was. They
traded for Brian Burns. Brian Burns is awesome.
I knew they got somebody big. Yeah.
They also got Jalen Mills, DB, I think out of New England. They got Drew Lock.
Didn't they get a receiver too?
Isaiah McKenzie. They signed the speed receiver Isaiah McKenzie. Yeah. They signed Jermaine Illuminor, the Raiders offensive tackle. They signed John Runyon, the offensive lineman from Green Bay. Devin Singletary, Gunnar Olszewski, who was with Patriots, kind of a do-it-all special teamer. So Carter McLaughlin, Casey Kreider, a linebacker.
What's your prediction with the Niners? What do you think? You think they do anything big at this point, or you think they're just going to kind of get around the edges and then, go in the draft?
Well, I mean, they've already done quite a bit. I mean, they signed they signed 4 defensive linemen.
Right.
Leonard Floyd, I think, is better than the edge rushers they have.
Right.
Malik Collins. I'm a big fan of the guy from Cleveland they just signed, the defensive tackle.
Oh, Jordan Elliott?
Jordan Elliott. I really like him quite a bit. So they got 2 defensive tackles. They got Yatir Gross Matos. They got Leonard Floyd. They probably need to do something on offense. The big one is going to be, do they keep all the wide receivers? Do they re-sign Ayuk? But they need offensive linemen bad. And maybe they'll sign a linebacker now that they lost out on Kendricks.
Larry, here's a sleeper. The kid from Oregon, the center from Oregon, is so filthy and nasty. If they drafted him, put him at center, and had Feliciano at right guard, people are not coming up the middle no more. Those are 2 physical players, but the Niners probably will not go that way.
Well, they're going to invest in offensive linemen for sure.
It'd be probably a tackle more likely, but that center from Oregon's.
Yeah, Jackson Powers, I think his name is.
Well, what happens if they got the kid from Oklahoma, the tackle from Oklahoma,
Guyton?
Guyton, and they put him at right tackle, and they moved. Why am I forgetting the right tackle's name? McKivitz.
McKivitz.
They moved McKivitz into the middle, into the center, and then beefed up, kind of up, stronger, bigger up at center, more physical. Even Nick Zakel. Isn't Nick Zakel a pretty physical guy?
They just don't want to. I mean, Shanahan clearly doesn't want to, live with the growing pains of young offensive linemen, right? Young offensive linemen take a while. It just always does. And he doesn't have the patience for it. So I think they've got McKivitz. They'll draft some guys. If those guys beat out McKivitz, they'll go with them. Most likely they'll start McKivitz and the veteran stopgap guys early in the year. And unless they can somehow get a blue chip offensive tackle, but yeah, I think that really, I mean, you got the great left side. You got Banks and Williams. The center is just okay. The right guard's just okay. The right tackle is just okay. They need to upgrade there. There's no question.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're going to do it.
We'll have to have you, give us some football earlier on in the evening some night when we can give us, when everything settles, maybe we can get you on to kind of get us up to speed with what's happening and what you think the Niners are going to do. Sardal says it's 1:00 in Arizona. No,
it is not.
It's not. We don't change times. It's midnight, but it's 1 o'clock where Vince is at, and he looks like he might be fading a little. But man, Vince, man, it was awesome having you on. We will have
absolutely
you definitely back on.
Yeah, I loved it, guys. I thank you very much for the invite, Larry. It was really, really great meeting you because I do watch all you guys, man. I watch all your stuff, and it was great being on here with you guys, man.
Vince, let me tell you the story. You talked about meeting your heroes. I went up to who was the guy who did the Miller Lite commercials, who was in baseball forever, hilarious?
Euchre.
Bob
Euchre. Bob Euchre. And I loved Bob Euchre. I loved that TV show he was on, Mr. Belvedere. I love Bob Euchre, made me laugh, all those Miller Lite commercials. I walked up to him in a press box like 4 hours before a game, talked to him for like literally 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds, 15 seconds. And, asked him if he wanted to come on the show. And it was like, oh my God, he backpedaled. He did not want to come on. I don't think I've had anybody ever really like run away going, no, but I mean, this guy literally did not want to be on. And so I do kind of sympathize with when you meet people. Yeah. When you meet people that you have an impression of.
But Vin Scully did you good though, right?
Oh yeah. Vince Scully, did a full on 25-minute interview in the corner of the Dodger clubhouse, out of the blue.
Awesome. Wow.
Will Ferrell. I met Will Ferrell, and Will Ferrell just started going into character on all these different movies that I told him I enjoyed.
That's great.
Mike Tyson. I met Mike Tyson, sat there and had drinks in a bar in Philly with Mike Tyson. So I mean, there's been several that I've met that I thought, wow, this is incredible. But Bob Euchre was the one for me. It was like, man, I wanted to love Euchre. He didn't want to love me back. And there you go. There you go.
Man. Oh man, that is awesome. Well, we're gonna have Vince come on, and maybe we can do a collab jointly with wrestling, because that's your take. That's Los and Eric. I won't be part of the show because
I can tell you this, man. I absolutely loathe wrestling. Loathe it. I talk about it because I have to. I hate the wrestling business.
Are you serious?
You hate it now, but not how it used to be.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
And I also want to tell you, to show you how much of a Giants fan I am, just so you know, on this last note, I actually named my oldest son after Will Clark. How about that?
Wow. Matter of fact, it was his 60th birthday today.
Yeah, I named my son Will after Will Clark.
You know what?
It's a good call. It's a good solid boy's name.
Yeah.
I have a son named Will too. Yeah. But
Look at that.
After Will Clark?
No, it was actually after his grandfather's name, I guess. So yeah. Wasn't after Will, thinking that. But now that you said that,
yeah. But
I have four kids of my own, but if by chance we get lucky and get a fifth, maybe I'll go Farhan.
That'll make it all right, man. We'll be even, bro. We'll be even.
All because of Vince.
Yeah.
I was on this live stream with a guy named Vince, and he convinced me, honey, that we should go with young Farhan.
Yes.
And
just make sure, put me down in the books for the 20 and 8 show. I want to come on the 20 and 8 show. That'll be sometime the end of April.
We'll get together. I'll be Vince. These are my kids: Anna, Kevin, Ben, Chris, and Farhan.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what, Vince? You can still come on for the 20 and 8 show, but how about if we still have you come on for the 2 and 6 show?
That's not happening.
Not
happening. Not happening.
Awesome.
All right. Everybody. Vince, you got any? Do you want to give a shout out to your channel?
Yeah, guys, just go to everything is russosbrand.com. Everything I do, if you just go to russosbrand.com, you can find everything right there. That's the best place to go.
Absolutely.
Right.
And like I said before, look in the description of this video and you'll see his X or Twitter and also his YouTube channel.
Thanks, man.
Damn,
All right.
blowing up.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Have blown up.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good night, man. And Larry, go visit the Krug show.
Absolutely.
Best sports show in the Bay Area.
We're going to
Covers-
start hosting right on the Bay Bridge so people can just listen to a quick segment and jump.
Very
know?
nice. Yes.
There
you go. Now you're thinking.
Hey,
now you're thinking. Yes.
You get a 20-minute seg and you're off. We wish you well.
And Larry will be there with his dog Yaz.
and sponsored by before your last as your last meal, sponsored by Pig and a Pickle.
Pig and a Pickle.
Have the brisket before you take the jump, because
get a little brisket in you before you got nothing left. It has. I mean, we might have to tinker with it a little bit, but there's potential.
Yep. Absolutely.
I want to say there was a radio host back in the day that got a haircut on the Bay Bridge and held up traffic, and I think it was Scott Farrell.
Hey, Scotty Farrell here.
Hey, Scotty, Larry, and Wanna Creek. Let me pour you a cold one.
Hey, somebody's asking for Buster, my dog. Hey, my dog is named Buster. How's that?
Oh, there you go. That counts.
Where is Buster?
We joked him last year that his dog's real name is Kershaw.
There's Buster. He's sleeping, right? Hey, Buster. Hey, buddy.
Like
Buster.
he doesn't respond. He doesn't really respond to Buster. If
Hey,
you say
buddy.
Kershaw.
There's
See, look,
Buster.
now he's starting to getting revived. He hears Kershaw.
That is Buster. Look at all these Giants hats, Vince. They're all over the place.
Awesome. Nice.
So yeah. Hey, look. Even my screwdrivers are orange. How's that?
There you go.
Gosh.
It's an amazing studio you have there.
Yeah. It's yeah,
Vince, you got all kinds of stuff going back there.
man.
Look
Yeah,
at that.
can you close us out and show us like three of your most famous pictures?
I'll show you my favorite autographed baseball card. You guys will get a big kick out of. Hold on.
All right.
All right.
Mike Yastrzemski.
Look at that studio.
Well, he's from New York, so let me.
Who do you think it is? Let's take a guess.
Cheater.
My prized possession. You ready?
Rivera.
You know what?
I bet
Can
you
we
none
guess?
of you got this, bro, including Frank down there. He don't have this.
Willie Mays.
A Dick Dietz autographed rookie card, baby.
Dick Dietz.
Dick Dietz, bro. Old number
That definitely
2,
was
right
not gonna
there.
be guessed.
Yes.
Catcher.
That's great.
Yes.
You know what I wish I still had? My Jack Clark autographed orange jersey.
Oh,
It was
wow.
oh man, with it right on the back, right over the number 22. And
Bro, when we were kids,
No,
man,
no,
when
no.
we were kids, we would go to Shea every year. And remember when people were throwing the Clark bars at Jack Clark? We would do that every year, man. Throw it. He'd always pick it up, look at us, and put it in his back pocket.
The dude, Jack Clark.
You
That's
know,
that's my guy.
Yeah,
That was my guy as a little kid.
Yeah,
The guy that
Jack
said
Clark.
in every sentence of his interview,
Jack Clark. A
You
full
know?
day for Jack Clark was
you know,
a home run, a double, a called third strike in the late innings, and getting picked off third. That was a full day. It's like the
Yeah.
Gordie Howe. You get a goal,
Lot
an
of
assist,
doubles.
and a brawl. Jack Clark, you got a home run, a double,
Yeah.
and then picked off third, and
Well,
struck
awesome.
struck out
Well,
watching.
We will have you back on soon, Vince, and it's great having you. And really appreciate everyone coming on. Everybody sticking with us tonight for 3.5 hours. What a show! We stayed over. We stayed between 300 and 400 pretty much all night.
Pretty much.
So
That's good.
Vince, Dan told me that at 11, come on, we're only going 10 more minutes.
That's what we were gonna go.
I'm sitting here thinking, because all my shows, bro, like I'm 30 minutes in and out. in and out.
Thank
I'm
you.
from the school of less is more. I'm gonna go upstairs and my wife is gonna say, "What the hell were you guys
What
talking
happened?
about for 3
What
hours?"
the hell happened?
Welcome to Dan Coach Emilio.
I was just gonna say that's a normal NorCal Sports Network type of reaction right there.
Yeah,
Say,
well,
hey, I was on a live stream with a guy who is sitting in a gated community behind a 10-foot barrier wall with a guard.
we're getting
And-
all of our 3.5 hour shows, 2.5 to 3.5 hour shows out of the way before we do the post game shows, because we know there's going to be nothing to talk about once the season starts. So that's why we're building up so that we will do those half hour shows. The Giants got rocked today with their ace pitching staff. Another defeat, 7-5. And
Hey,
Farhan
Vince,
will be
another
like,
thing. If you get involved in this baseball fantasy and Dan gets involved, be expecting texts at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh,
No,
that's
you
smart.
wanna
Hey,
try-
bro. Hey, in
No,
Colorado,
expect requests for
in
trades.
Colorado, the on fantasy baseball, the waiver wire opens up at 1 a.m. and I am the first one on it,
Oh,
man.
there you go, Dan.
Vince, last year,
Dan, you got to do
I'm
it.
lying in bed with my wife and my phone starts to buzz. She's like, who is calling you at 3 a.m.? I look over at the phone. The first thing I see is I have 3 wide receivers and I have a need for a running back. I didn't even need to ask. I go, it's Dan wanting to make a fantasy trade. She's like, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. I want to see your phone. And I hand her the phone and she's like, geez, really? He's really into fantasy football, huh? It's 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
well, that's Dan. That's Dan,
Yeah.
baby.
That's why I turned my phone off.
my phone's off too.
There you
Goes
go.
off at 10 o'clock every night on Do Not Disturb. See, there it is. Do Not Disturb.
Look
Yeah.
at that.
There's
She's
my wife
clenching
right
those
there.
flowers, going, that's all I've got.
Yeah, there's the beautiful missus right there.
Look at that. Look at that.
So
You're
anyway.
nothing without her.
That's pretty much true.
Yeah.
That's pretty much true. Yeah, that's not pretty much. It is true. It's 100% true. So,
All right, Vince, for the 6th time.
Yeah,
have a-
exactly.
Yeah,
Have a
guys,
great night.
we will see you. We'll keep in touch. We'll get you on. Keep watching. We'll be watching your stuff too. And thanks again for joining.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great night, and we will talk soon.
All right, guys. Take care, man. God bless, man. See
All
you
right.
soon.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
See you, Vince. All right, Larry. Great having you on, man. As usual. You lit up the room, had us all laughing.
What was the catch text that you got Larry to come on here? Was it just this?
No, it was
is a
the
wrestling
third
guy, or
phone
is this the
call.
guy
It was
that's
the
all-
third phone call from Dan.
It
And
was
I
the
was
third
like,
phone call. Yeah.
I thought, you know what? There may be a fire. Maybe there's a fire. And I just thought, you know what? I got to get in there. And then I saw something about Vince and Russo and this and that. I was like, you know what? I think I'm being called. I'm being summoned.
Yes.
But I feel like I was a little negative on Vince. But you know what? I'm a little negative sometimes.
Yeah, he can take it. He was fun. He
He's
came
a New
at us.
Yorker, man. He's a New
He
Yorker.
came at us. He came at us good, and it was
Yeah,
a
it was
lot of
good.
fun.
It was
Yeah,
great.
a lot of
It
fun.
was.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, you know what? In the end, I'll eat humble pie if the Giants end up making the playoffs and looking good. I'll be happy to be the whooping boy of all the Farhan lovers and everything. But as I say, I'm just trying to give you reality. I can't change my take and say everything. I can't tell you it's sunny and there's no clouds in the sky when there's you can see a storm clearly coming. I'm not going to sit there and tell you it's sunny. So I think the Giants are right around a 500 club again.
Hey, Dan, but
And-
you did get to find out what me and Eric have been knowing for a long time. These
Mhm.
wrestling people, they can cut a promo and they can talk shit with the best of them.
Awesome. It's
'Cause
awesome.
that's what they train their wrestlers to do. They
Yeah,
can't just
that's-
be good wrestlers. They have to get in front of them on the mic and be able to talk it.
Yeah,
He
good.
does it
Well,
just as good
hopefully
as the
we'll get some promos out of them. So,
No
all
doubt.
right, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll be
Yep.
back again
Tomorrow at
tomorrow
8:30.
night. but it's
Do we
not
have
gonna be a
closing
long-
music, or what's the closing music? Do we have?
What do we got? Some closing music. Eric runs that, man. What do you,
You
got?
want me
Eric?
to you want to do some closing music? We could do
New
Yeah,
that.
let's
York,
get
New
some
York,
closing.
Sinatra.
Oh, I wish.
Yeah, we wish.
Yeah, you know how much I would probably cost. If
When
we
how
tried
about
to
when
do
the
that?
Giants come to town? It's bye bye baby. I don't know, whatever you got.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
well, yeah. Actually, no. Let's not do that.
what,
get it
Little
going.
Careless
Whatever the-
Whisper, George
whatever-
Michael. I mean, just anything.
whatever the normal stuff we got. There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Little careless
too bad.
whisper there. Nice.
Yeah. Hey, I like that. Is this the trade you wanted to make? This SF hat for that Roma hat? You're muted,
Oh,
Los.
Oh no, it's because of the music. Sometimes the music gets all
Oh.
messed up.
What was that, Los?
You're gonna probably have to give me
There you
two
go.
hats for this one. I bought this.
Two
at the
hats?
Vatican.
How about
This is about this at the Vatican. This has got holy water on it, man. I'm gonna need a 5 hat. Hey, let's trade hats now. I mean, damn, you trade everything else.
which one? You can have one of these and
Oh, I'll take the Warrior color and the. Well, I'm kind of pissed at the Giants right now. Let me do the Warriors and the Niners.
okay. You got these two. Look at, they're not even. They've only been worn a couple times on the show.
There's sweat rings in there.
Yes. Tell Mika to put it through the wash for me though a few times.
How about that Roma?
I want a Warrior hat. I
Well,
want
neither
a
one of us
vivid-
got lice, Los. We don't have any hair.
I'd like some lumpia packaged in my hat.
Hey, Larry.
Some lumpia.
Larry, what do you think of this idea? I'm thinking of getting a hat for every team the Giants play this year and wearing
Wow,
that hat
that's-
in my post-game shows. Whoever wins. How many times will I wear a Giants hat this year?
Well, I'll say 55. There'll be a few game shows
55.
you won't be able to go. You won't.
Will
be able
the
to
chat
go
go crazy on me, or will they leave the show if I put a Dodger hat on?
I think there may be some defections.
Yeah, the Dodger hat might stir it up a little bit.
That might be a little too far.
I don't know if the channel can handle defections at this juncture.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Let's not drive away the people.
Yeah,
No.
we
Get a little
we
bit more
can-
of a cushion.
we can drive away one or two, as we did with our friend Mario. But have we done anybody else? No. We brought, yeah. So anyway, guys, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow night at 8:30. Later.
Woo!